Hello, FPL managers. Welcome back to another Scoutcast match day. We've had an international break, so we've had a week off, and we are back ready and waiting for FPL. And what a day we've got! We've got the Merseyside derby up next, and then we've got Chelsea, we've got United, we've got Arsenal, we've got City. It's going to be a massive day of FPL. And for the first couple of hours, Seb, thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Right, well, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm in that little post wildcard hysteria phase, where it feels like I've done good things until points come in or don't, more pointedly. How about you, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. I've had my first 4 point hit of the season. The KDB injury forced me into that. We'll talk more about what I did there later on, but yeah, in brief, Trossard is in. I've gone one Belgian playmaker to another, and I'm quite excited about that. I got 5.5 in the bank ready for next week. But it felt I had to get rid of him. Did KDB? Presumably, he didn't survive your wild card. Did you get? Did you have any Man City in there?
I've no Man City at the moment. Although maybe a plan for it. I've got the Kane and Son double up, as most people who've wildcarded probably do. Although I don't entirely trust it. They've brought in two massive hauls, but in two matches that were perfectly set up for it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the underlying numbers, yeah, there are points there, but there aren't as many points as they've brought in. So it feels a bit like I don't want to use the word coverage, but maybe a safety move with an eye on an Aguero or something like that. But no Man City, no KDB. KDB was probably one of the main reasons I ended up wildcarding.
Yeah.
I started the international break on a -8, which I'm not even sure I remember what that was now. Timo Werner to Brewster, and then I used those funds. I think I had brought Chilwell in. Um, and then, yeah, kind of thought, okay, I'll take this -8, and then we'll see what happens over the break. I've got the wild card. I'll admit I didn't really want to use it. I don't think it's the best use of the wild card. But here we are. I've wildcarded because KDB got injured. I've rejigged the team a bit, set myself up for the next few weeks. So I brought in Antonio ahead of time.
Nice.
Tried to maybe save myself a -8 next week, but give it 45 minutes and we'll see about
You can't be taking an 8 point hit off a wildcard, Seb. Although I
that.
can't be telling you what to do because last season you finished 389th overall rank in FPL, which is incredible. So I look forward to at
Yeah.
half time speaking more about how you got there. And I know Andy, who's on the chat. Andy also took a last minute wildcard, but had a plan, and I think he was on an 8 point hit. And it's funny, isn't it? You go, oh, if I just click that button, not only do I get the team I want, I save myself 8 points, which I've already committed
Yeah.
to. So, guys, we've got a massive game of football coming up. I'm sure many of you are at home watching. Put your TV on mute rather than Stephen Fletcher and Steve McManaman and Darren Fletcher. Listen to us too as we talk through the game, but also touch on all the hot points of FPL, what we're looking forward to this weekend, who we've got in action, and of course analysing the Liverpool and Everton game. I'm really excited about this Merseyside derby. Liverpool really need a response after conceding 7 to Aston Villa. Everton are absolutely flying at the moment. I'm expecting goals. I think this is going to be a really big game for Mo Salah as well. I've captained Salah. Seb, have you got the armband on Salah as well?
Oh yes.
Good stuff. And what are your predictions today, Seb? Are you expecting goals? Because that's sometimes cagey affairs, but if we know anything from the start of this season, it's that we're going to see a huge amount of goals. And I just feel like these are two teams that are going to go at each other today.
Looking at the lineups, it's probably the strongest team available each, right?
Yeah.
And I think Liverpool, Matip in for Gomez, Henderson back in, Thiago fit. I've now dropped my double Liverpool defense. I've got Robertson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them keep a clean sheet. I mean, Everton are definitely good, but they look a lot more solid than they did a week or two ago.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2-1 Liverpool with a Mo Salah brace, mostly because I've captained him and no other reason.
I was hoping that Luca Dean was going to be injured because I was thinking, he came off for France with the ice pack on his leg. I was thinking Mo Salah down that right wing against, a standing left back. Yes, please. But, Dean starts. And they are, both teams look like they're at full strength, other than Allison in for, Adrian, of course, is in goal. And yeah, you got the Matip Gomez dilemma, which I don't think Klopp even knows who is first 11 there. But Matip was instrumental to, I think, when they won the Champions League. He had some brilliant phases of play for them, and yeah, it's a really strong 11 with Thiago coming in as well. So yeah, looking forward to this one. I mean, were you surprised to see Richarlison and Rodriguez get in the starting 11 after long flights back? I was saying all week, look guys, they're going to start. Of course they're going to start. But were you surprised? I know a lot of people were.
Well, we mentioned when we were talking a couple of weeks ago about Rodriguez potentially missing this one, or at least starting on the bench. I kept Hammers in my team mostly because I couldn't find the funds to bring in, say, a Pulisic.
Right.
But I think, like you say, if he was fit and available, he's always going to start. He's very much Ancelotti's talisman. I think he's there because of Ancelotti. So whether
100%.
he's fully fit, we'll see. But yeah, I think I was surprised maybe to see, as you say, apart from Adrian, both teams pretty much put out their strongest lineups. But any one individual, I could make a case either way.
Yeah.
So I guess it all just fell the right way. I think Matip is bigger for Liverpool. He's possibly been, when everyone's been available over a similar amount of time, he's probably been their best defender. Van Dijk, while absolutely the class is there, the last little while, Van Dijk's had a mistake in him. He's not quite. He's gone from what made him so good, which was that confident calmness, both tracking runs and on the ball, to now maybe it becoming almost a little too calm, a little lackadaisical. You're seeing him leave those gaps, and again, of course, you could say, well, actually, maybe that's others' faults. Maybe he can't cover for everyone. But I think Matip has fewer mistakes in him than Gomez does, and those two worked great as a partnership in the past. So I'd rate that back to at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And hi, guys, to all of you in the chat. Do let us know your questions. Kev's in, Krishna, Nick. Hello to all of you. Matt, James, Robin. Toby's saying that you've got Hugo Lloris vibes going on with the new trim, Seb. Have you ever had that one before?
I've not had that one. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but
Mate,
I'll take it.
definitely a compliment. Definitely a compliment. The celebrities I've got in the past, and some are compliments, many of them aren't. So I've got Grimmy, Rylan, I've had Conchita, the one that won. I don't know if you remember Conchita. I think she won the Eurovision Song Contest. But I've also had the guy from Maroon 5, who I'll take. So I've had three.
I'd take that. He's a good-looking man. I'd take that.
3 shockers and one that I'll absolutely take. So yeah,
we've just had kickoff. While we're talking about good-looking men, which is much more important. We've just had kickoff here. Not much happened so far. Just the standard kickoff and long ball and lose possession.
Good job. Thank you, Seb, for keeping me on track. I should be doing that to you. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be the other way around today. So we're going to be at Eurovision for Austria. Well done, Kev. And Kev, you're always first to let us know when there's a goal. However, look, we're probably going to be on like a 10-15 second delay. So we are going to be keeping you almost up to date live. Very, very short, just short of that. But, it's definitely worth watching the game and muting it. Ask your questions. We're going to just be chatting FPL, guys. I'm really excited. I've missed it. I mean, it was nice to have the break. But at the same time, 1 week off, well, sort of 10 days out is long enough for me. And now I'm ready to go. What about you, Seb? Did you enjoy not having FPL for one weekend? Was it a nice little rest?
The day job has kept me fairly busy the last couple of weeks.
Tell us what you do. Come on.
I work for Football Manager, and we've just put out a few of our announcements for next year's for FM21 for the game coming up. So yeah, we're working pretty long days and everything at the moment, but for a good reason. This is the exciting part.
Yeah.
So I've had that distraction, although maybe too much of a distraction. Like I said, the wild card was very much literally hit the button last night, and then spent about an hour this morning working it out. So we'll see. I think. Oh, Liverpool going. Nothing came of that. Liverpool moving forward, but Everton tidied it up. I'd say in the year like we've had, where there's been so little football for a bit, and then so much football, it's nice to return to that bit of normality, that weekly churn. The matches one at a time are a bit bizarre. I kind of like they stretch out the pain of not scoring points. I maybe quite like them all at once. But I would say international breaks are a weird one. It's one of those. Oh.
Kev's just said in the chat,
Ooh,
goal.
Mane. Robertson to Mane.
Wow, Robertson assist already for you on your wild card, Seb. And for Toby watching, he's got Robertson as well. And there's been a lot of chat, should it be Robbo or Trent on the wild card? Well, Robertson's been getting really high, hasn't he? Higher than Trent. And we've seen from this goal, it's out to Robbo, takes on his man, beats his man, pulls it back to Mane. So really good finish. And Pickford just puts his hand up, it goes right above.
I'd like to know if anyone did the Salah and Mane double up in a wild card.
Yeah, I mean that
KDB to Mane was on.
KDB to Mane was on, but you needed 0.4 in the bank to do it. So that was actually the move I text Toby. I was like, I'm going to make this move, and then I realised I don't have 0.4 in the bank. So KDB to Mane was on if you had a little bit of buffer. But yeah, really early goal. That's brilliant for a game that we're hoping is going to be goals galore, and it's really well worked. I mean, Robertson, we know he's going to be a creative source all season, but he's just bombing forward so much this season. And when you look at his touches compared to Trent's touches this season, I can absolutely see, Seb, why you went Robbo over Trent.
Yeah.
Even on some of the set pieces.
I did have the double up beforehand, and I still rate that. I was looking. I think I mentioned to you beforehand. I was at 10.59, still tweaking with the wild card. The thing I was looking at is, can I get both Trent and Robbo in the same team?
Yeah.
It basically meant I'd had to drop Antonio to Brewster, and I wasn't quite sure that's where I wanted to go, simply just for team flexibility going forward. But I mean, I wouldn't play Trent down. His stats are still right up there. They're very similar to Robertson. Maybe Robertson is now getting the return for his stats because his stats have been good for quite a while. If you need that 0.5 or you don't want the double up, yeah, fair enough. But I still rate two of them. I still rate the two of them.
Just watching the goal, I mean, Robbo's really intelligent, so knocks it one side of Coleman, runs the other. Coleman isn't quick enough to react. I don't know if you can blame him for that, but you'd expect, I don't know, Coleman in his absolute prime maybe sticks a leg in there and wins the ball. But, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. A couple of you, Michael, went KDB to Mane for a -4. Well played. You've been rewarded with that instantly. Matt thought about it but didn't quite go. He went Podence instead.
Ball into the box from Mane, just cleared out by Dean. I think it was Henderson going in for it.
Oh, Henderson in with the chance. So Liverpool are all over him at the moment. It's been a really lively
Robertson
start.
involved again there. He lays it off to Mane and then gets into the box.
He's such a creative outlet for them, isn't he? It's more than ever. And, look, Robertson's always had this in his locker, but I feel like Liverpool this season have it's become part of their game plan. It's nothing to do with the fact Robertson's just better in form. He's always been this good. It's just that Klopp has said, I think, we're becoming a bit predictable. Trent is putting in so many crosses, everything's coming down the right, and he's gone, no, we're going to balance it out. I want Robertson to have an equal amount of threat, and it looks like he is. Yeah,
Might be checking a pen here.
Was Henderson. No, Dean seems to it comes off Dean and goes out for a corner, or is this post corner?
I don't know. They're just on.
What time are you on, Seb? Just so you know in the chat, because some of you are going to sync with us, so that is great to hear. Brilliant request, and we'll remember to do this at every live stream. Oh, it was Pickford coming in, which is where they may have been looking at the pen on.
I'm on
Van
5,
Dijk.
23, 24, 25.
Great. I'm on 5, 6, 5, 7. So guys, if you want to sync off Seb. Go on, Seb. Give it one more time.
5, 33, 34, 35, 36.
Good job. Looks like Van Dijk was actually offside, but yeah, Jordan Pickford, you're a lucky boy.
Do you rate Pickford?
Do I? Heck, mate. I'd go so far to say I think Pickford is the most overrated. It's the wrong term because I know so many don't rate him, but I think he is the luckiest player to being in a team that he's in the league. For example, he's way out of his depth at Everton, I feel. Like he's useless. I really don't see the appeal. I think there's probably 12, 13 better keepers, maybe 15 better keepers in the Premier League than Pickford. I really do. I mean, he wouldn't be in my England top 3, put it that way.
Van Dijk's onside here, so is he actually?
No,
maybe the old armpit. But the fact that they're checking it certainly means if he's onside, do you think there's a penalty there?
Yeah, he's definitely off though, Seb. He's definitely off.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, that back foot, he's offside. I'll go with what you said. He's definitely off. Yeah, you were right all along.
I've not seen the lines, but from without the lines, it was clearly off for me. But yeah, I mean, Toby says that, that's a red for Pickford, potentially, isn't it? You've seen them given. He's going to be saved here.
I guess if it's offside, then I guess it technically doesn't count, does it?
No, it doesn't count. So what happened after it doesn't count. But Pickford, what a lucky boy! You're 6 minutes into the Merseyside derby. Your team are top of the league in their biggest game of the season, and you think it's acceptable to go in feet first like that? You're a headless chicken, mate.
You are not his biggest fan, are you?
Oh, mate!
I feel like I don't hate him for Everton. It's just one of those, if you've got a number one, you hold on for a bit of time. Fair enough. It's the England call that gets me because that is the easiest one in the world just to drop him. Even if long term you want him to be your number one, give someone else a go. Get the experience in, get the rotation in, and maybe give Pickford a kick up the backside.
Guys, I can imagine many of you at home are agreeing with us, but I really do think that yes, he's not good enough for England, but if this Everton team is going to go places, he can't be good enough for Everton either. Like, this is a team that's bought James in. Like, they're a team that have bought Alan, they've got Andre Gomez, they've got Luca Dean. These are three ex-Barcelona players in Mina as well. Jordan Pickford is not going to be their number one next season, I don't think. I don't think he'll last to the end of the season. They've brought in Olsen from Roma. He was their second choice. Olsen's, he's played quite a few games for Sweden. I think there was a sizable transfer fee when he went to Roma.
He was the replacement for Alisson, I think.
Yeah, he was.
Although I know he's been a bit dodgy
He
himself
has.
sometimes. So
He has, but Ancelotti must have seen something in him. Although, weren't they linked on deadline day with both Gazinga from Spurs, Argentine, who's now their number 3 because Joe Hart's in it too. They were also linked with Romero from United. And I think Romero's wife or girlfriend was pretty outspoken about them not letting him go. I could have seen Romero in this Everton team. I think he's a better keeper than Pickford. And maybe Olsen is too.
Shot, yeah.
Maybe Olsen is too. I mean, I don't think Ancelotti will keep him long term. I really don't. And I can see why Gareth likes him. It's purely because he's a good footballer. He's good with his feet, and Gareth wants to play out from the back.
Is he though? So that's actually my main issue with him. Because know when before everyone got on the Pickford hate train, it has become a little popular to knock him down.
Yeah.
His thing was this distribution. His distribution has never held up under stats. He just has a massive boot on it. He can clear the entire pitch, which is impressive. But he's never actually hit anything all that accurate. He just whacks it. So I don't know if that's what he's in the team for, his footballing ability. You look at him, when England are doing their playing around the back, how often does he look under control, and how often does he maybe look, and maybe that's just unfortunate, the way he controls the ball, but how often does he look like he's just waiting to try and clear it?
Yeah, I mean, he never looks overly comfortable for me. There is, however, worth noting, when you look at his time back at Sunderland, the management there, including one of his coaches, I think maybe even the goalkeeper coach, came out and said, this boy is good enough to play centre mid. And I remember hearing that and going, this must be the world's best goalkeeper with his feet. And then I've seen him since, at Everton for England, and there's error after error, howler after howler with his feet as well. And it's like, are you sure that he could play midfield? Maybe it was just Sunderland ramping up that transfer fee ahead of a link or two. So Van Dijk is off, guys. Pickford, I really think Pickford could have seen red for that, If that was given onside, it's a penalty and it's potentially a red card, and Van Dijk is out. So that's not what Liverpool want going into a really busy spell of fixtures with the Champions League as well. So Gomez comes on. In terms of ownership levels, I'm just going to have a quick look and let you guys know how many own Van Dijk, because that is pretty good for overall rank if you don't own him. I reckon he's probably around 10% owned.
I think that changes a lot of people.
Wow, 27% owned Van Dijk.
That must be quite close to Robertson himself, right?
No, Robertson's way lower than that.
He's 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, goodness.
And Trent's probably around 40. Yeah, Trent's 39.
That definitely changes the appeal of Robertson and Trent. I mean, only a moment ago I was talking about still fancying that double up. Adrian in goal and no Van Dijk. I probably don't double up anymore. Maybe I've got a bit lucky there on my wildcard.
Yeah. He's hobbling down the tunnel. So it looks fairly serious, If you're going to go without Van Dijk for a month, you're not too easy there on the double Liverpool defence.
Bit speculative, but Calvert-Lewin just came in for a header there. I think it was Luca Dean who put it in.
Let's talk about this Everton team, Seb. I've been so impressed with their start to the season. I really like Ancelotti adapting to his resources. Ancelotti is a manager. And by the way, guys, if you get the opportunity and you're an Everton fan or you're just a real football fan that wants to get valuable opinions, read the Ancelotti autobiography. It is absolutely brilliant. It speaks a lot about his management style. And he often plays a 4-4-2, but he's not rigid with that. And we saw last season, Project Restart, Everton, pretty disappointing towards the end of the season, and we all had Dominic Calvert-Lewin in our teams, and he just kept disappointing. And they were playing 4-4-2, and this summer he's gone, no, I'm going to mix it up. Calvert-Lewin as the lone 9, Richarlison's better coming in off the left. I can sign James, who I know can play off the right but drift inside. I can have fullbacks banging on, and then I know if I sign a midfield of Andre Gomez, Alan, and Decore, I've got a bit of everything there. I really think that's a brilliantly balanced team. What do you reckon, Seb?
I think when we spoke about it at the beginning of the season, it's almost Football Manager-esque in terms of, go sign. I need a new midfield. Okay, I'll sign Liverpool in the box here. Just hold on for a sec. Pickford came out with a punch. Good punch, to be fair.
Oh, boo. We don't Pickford doing anything, kids.
That doesn't fit the narrative. Robertson with the ball in, going across. Firmino got on it. Not dissimilar to the Calvert-Lewin one in terms of chance on the header, but again another little Robertson bit of supply. Trent Alexander-Arnold not up there.
Yeah, the form Pickford's been in, I can see Everton putting in a lot of crosses today, but also just working the keeper, shoot at any chance, which is part of my thinking for captaining Salah. And I think Everton, of course, are going to be doing exactly the same. Like, get shots in on Adrian, surround him at set pieces. This is a keeper that will flap. So yeah, back to Everton, Seb. You were saying.
So yeah, I think if you're looking for a new midfield, you sign Alan, Doucouré, James Rodriguez. You go, sweet, that's an entire new midfield, and I hope they all speak the same language. Well, clearly they do, and clearly they get on very well. They play well together. The bit that probably surprised me is when you sign James and then start him on the right wing and start Andre Gomez in the middle instead. I looked at that and thought, surely he's one of the last true number 10s left.
Yeah.
You just start him at 10, you set Doucouré and Alan up behind him, and you just sit with that. But I guess there's a reason Ancelotti's a professional world-class manager and I'm not. Turns out it's working, and it's working very, very nicely. And I'm seriously impressed with it, especially Andre Gomez was obviously already there before the other guys came in. And the fact that it wasn't just maybe straight up replacements from midfield, but there was consideration gone into, okay, there's Andre Gomez who I rate, so I can build a structure around that. There was very much a team in mind. And I think that plays into what we're seeing now. It wasn't just dare I say, Aston Villa of 2 years ago, where you just sign some good players and hope it works. There was clearly a plan here. They've planned out their squad, they've sat down, they've looked at it, filled the holes they needed, and complemented what they already have. Like you say, maybe if they go and add a goalkeeper to that.
Yeah.
I think there's, it's the classic who's going to get that Everton top 6 spot. I think, well, it's more like who's going to be the Everton that breaks into a top 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, the only area of the pitch I think they need to strengthen is at centre-back. I'm not comfortable with Mina and Keane, but they've gone and got Godfrey, who's a good young English talent. Whether or not he's going to be that level, I'm not so sure. So I still think even with Godfrey, they might be a centre-back missing. But, possibly a right-back long-term. Coleman's getting on a bit. Coleman played in the game 10 years ago when Everton last beat Liverpool in a Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Yeah. And Coleman was in that game, so he's getting on. But yeah, I mean, I'm so impressed with that midfield. And I'm impressed with the way he's played James off the right, because yes, he's playing right of a 3, but he is so infield, and he does often drift into that 10 role. And no one knows James better than Ancelotti. He had him at Real Madrid. He took him to Bayern Munich. He tried taking him to Napoli. Like, this is a guy that knows James, and I had no doubt that James was going to be a success at Everton, because Ancelotti was always going to build a team around him, even though he is playing right of the 3.
For sure. I mean, in fantasy terms, he's a £9 million midfielder for me. I didn't start with him, admittedly, simply down to structure and wanting to see how it worked. I think he was my first hit of the season to get him in before he rose too much. I'm very happy with that. I think he keeps rising over the long term, and he will return points similar to if he was priced at 9 million or so.
Yeah, he's going to perform like a premium. Saying that, I don't own him, and I only don't own him because I've got DCL and I don't want an Everton double up just yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are you on DCL as well, Seb?
Yeah, I finally brought him in as part of. He was actually part of the -8, and then obviously kept him on the wild card.
Yeah. Finally
brought him in. I'm not entirely convinced that this was the right time to bring him in, but it felt like one of those, if I just want to set up a very almost try game week 1 again, set up a very solid team with various price points, the players that have done well with price rises and whatnot. DCL can become Antonio in a couple of weeks. I've still got James, or I keep DCL, James goes to say Pulisic, or the one I really have my eye on is Ziyech. The reason I don't have a Chelsea midfielder or attacker now, DCL though going forward, weak shot straight at Adrian, but he's there. He's had 2 or 3 shots this match now.
Yeah, he did well with a header a few minutes ago. Yeah, I'm with you there, Seb. Like, I was looking at my KDB replacement, and obviously I went Trossard, and I wanted to go I was thinking Grealish or maybe even Barkley or a Chelsea midfielder. The reason I didn't go for a Chelsea midfielder is I'm just not set on who I want yet, and I want to see them all play together. DCL there, brilliant take. Amazing touch to bring that under control. Gets his scuff shot away and it leads to nothing, but plucks that out really well, and he looks like he's got the beating of Gomez. DCL.
He could get a goal today, couldn't he? He's one in the air, one with his left foot.
Without Van Dijk,
there's chances there.
Without Van Dijk, he'll be really excited about playing 80 minutes without Van Dijk effectively. I've just seen
like you were saying, I fancy James cuts in from the right, puts one straight at Adrian's palms. He palms it down, and then you can have Calvert-Lewin coming in and cleaning up.
Yeah.
I think, like you were saying a moment ago, that's what you try. If you've got a goalkeeper who you're not sure on, you pepper them with stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I've just seen a still image, guys, of that Pickford to
not good
to Van Dijk. It's absolutely criminal. I don't even see that. I know it's poor picture quality, but that's not fun, is it?
That is a straight red anywhere on the pitch, but an offside.
Do you know what I mean? And also,
James has played. A little bit away. James, lovely ball to Richarlison. No idea where the right side of the defence was. Adrian came up and swept up very comfortably. Probably a couple of metres too far ahead of Richarlison.
Good stuff. Guys in the comments, thank you all for interacting. Ahmed, Godfrey's not playing, but expect him to be soon, I think. Not today, though. He only signed about a week back. Just seeing the chance. Adrian, quick off his line there. Mike did well.
DCL again. Near post, speculative. You don't know if that's going in, but he tests Adrian.
Is he pinning himself on Gomez in the air there, or is it Matip? I've not seen it yet. It's just if you're DCL for height advantage, you want Gomez marking you all day long, don't you?
Yeah, quite probably. Well, he's come from both sides there. I think we're talking about a tap-in merchant and the second coming of Inzaghi. So far, he's complete forward. He's been bringing the ball up himself, headers. Oh, it's in. We have a Keane goal. I'm guessing from a Rodriguez corner.
Oh, wow. James corner.
Through Adrian's hands, although that might be harsh. It's one of those, it goes high and above his head.
Oh, I'm just seeing it now.
Goes through his hands, but we'll see.
Just seeing now, it's definitely James on the corner, so well played, Seb. We were just talking about him, and Keane goes up well, and yeah, it's through his hands. But when you're 5-6 yards out like that, if it's on target, you kind of probably can't blame the keeper there. But a brilliant corner, Seb.
Yeah. That's a very good. That's that perfect little area. Was it too far for Adrian to come? But right on top of that clump of players, and a good header.
Do you know what, Seb? It wasn't too far for Adrian to come, but it was too crowded for Adrian to come. This is what I said 5 minutes ago. I said, they're going to be surrounding him at set pieces. And you look at Everton, they've got Mina, Keane started, and Andre Gomez all right on top of Adrian before that corner comes in. Three 6'2" plus players all on Adrian. He's never going to come for that because there's no space.
They're a well-coached team with talented players. I think, we're close to becoming Everton fans here, but we've seen it all season so far. They've signed the right players who were playing well, and Ancelotti's...
I'll tell you what, that is an Adrian howler. Toby's called it in the chat. I mean, howler might be harsh, and you can't...
In slow motion. Slow motion, he should stop it. But at full speed, he's got his hands there, which if anything is a good anticipation, but at full speed, he needs to close his hands.
Yeah.
Can he do that?
Yes, he can. He's got to have stronger wrist there as well. It goes through his hands, Seb, I think. Anywhere else on target, and you say keeper shouldn't be saving that, that's probably the one area of the goal, that or straight at your body, you say, I want the keeper to save that, despite it being quick and despite it being 6 yards out.
You say the same thing if that's Alisson.
No.
Is it because it's Adrian?
You don't say the same thing if it's Adrian, do you? If it's Alisson, that is harsh, but you're right. It's probably harsh on Adrian because, if that's Kepa, you call him out, but or De Gea or Pickford or Adrian, but you probably don't say anything at Ederson or Alisson there, do you?
Which is a bit of a circular argument because the whole reason he's not Alisson is because he keeps not saving those.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's one of those that if he saves it, it's decent.
Salah with a shot on target there. You expect Salah to be causing problems with a shot from that angle. Don't know if you saw it, Seb. The ball...
I missed that.
Ball comes in from Firmino, who's got a lot of space, by the way, Firmino. Finds Salah on the edge of the box, who kind of cuts in on his left, 15 yards out. Usually he bends it into the far corner and he just scuffs it and it sort of rolls towards Pickford, so it's a very, very comfortable save. Look, 21 minutes into this game, it's already 1-1. We said this was going to be a goals fest, or I did, I'll take that. Double Liverpool defenders. There's so many with them. We've got to start thinking to move away from these if we can't bank on clean sheets, right? I mean, yes, they're going to give you lots of attacking returns. And look, it's a smart move having a Liverpool defender. And Robbo looks like a great shout at the moment. But investing in both when that's 7 and 7.5, it's a bit heavy, right?
I guess it's what are you going to do with it as much as anything else. Yeah. So the attraction of Trent and Robbo, obviously the clean sheets, and they're still going to get a dozen clean sheets this season, you would think, just purely through the fact of they're one of the best teams in the league, so on and so forth. But it's the attacking returns that they bring. They could keep 5 clean sheets this season and still probably outscore similarly priced midfielders. But I think if you can maybe identify, Grealish, a lot of people have got Grealish after the recent performance. I really rate Barkley actually for a fair bit less.
1.2 less. I'm thinking Barkley over Grealish.
I think it's a good shout if you need that money to spend. But then, we've just seen James there for 7 point. He started at 7.5. He's 7.9 now or something, 7.8.
Yeah, he's
I wonder if it's not so much the fact that Trent and Robbo aren't good options. It's the fact that you can use that money more wisely elsewhere, especially if we're not seeing clean sheets this year. And this is one that I'm a little unsure on. The stats so far suggest that this level of goals can't possibly be kept up.
This is
Trent,
This is Trent territory. Don't know if you've got
Oh
it.
no,
So.
here we go.
What time are you on? I'm on 22, 46, 47, 48.
23, 9, 10,
Oh, you're way ahead.
11.
The free kick must have taken place, though.
No, they're still arguing over here.
Okay. Yeah, so it's Thiago with a good ball into Mane. Mane kind of bad first touch, and then Andre Gomez goes to kick it with his boot as Mane goes up for the header. So he connects with Mane's head. So Mane is down 20 yards out. This is Trent scored a free kick against Chelsea in this exact position last season.
This would be prime. Just what we were discussing. Trent puts this in the top corner. Outscores
Go on,
Robbo
give
today.
it to Salah. Let Salah take it.
You'd say it favours the right foot here. It's just slightly left of the D. It's a really, really good spot for a free kick.
It's a great spot, especially when you're against Pickford.
Just aim for Pickford. Aim for the bright green, and it'll go straight in, right?
Paulstein, how can Gianni be so cool? Is that cool as in cool appearance, or cool as in you don't own Liverpool defenders? What you doing? Didn't we have this problem with the clean sheet problem last season? Ahmed says. I don't know. They were pretty good at the back. Like they went through phases, but they also kept a huge amount.
Good save from Pickford.
Who took it? Trent.
It was rolled off to Trent. Yeah, Trent took it. I think it was Salah probably rolled it off to him.
Oh, Salah. One chance.
Oh
created.
no, Henderson rolled off to Trent. It's one of those you should save. It's in a good area. It's a good height. It's a nice dive. It's a good save, but he should save it.
He does a lot of saves for the camera, Pickford. I just want to go to town on him further. I've not seen it yet, but I bet it sounds like a save for the cameras to me. Oh,
he's a little shorter.
It's a save for the cameras.
You reckon? He's a little shorter, isn't he? So I think sometimes some of those saves that a Courtois might make more easily, he's got to stretch, he's got to dive.
Okay, fair enough. I've seen the replay. Maybe it's not one for the cameras, but he does that. I
feel like I'm very much having to defend Jordan Pickford here. Not because I particularly rate him, but just because, Gianni, you've got it in for him.
I'm absolutely bashing him. Do you know? And I don't do that with players, and I don't like it. But Pickford's the one I do go to. Like I've seen so much in the week and in the international break. Mason Mount is so unfair. Like, is it Mount's fault that Grealish isn't getting picked? No, Mount and Grealish are not the same footballer. It's not his fault at all that Gareth wants someone with Mount's qualities.
Now we see it's not Pickford. Really, it's the Chelsea. We see.
Absolutely. Well, mate, when Chelsea were linked with Pickford, I was tearing my hair out. I think it was only soft paper talk, but still, I was not a happy bunny.
You're missing Mendy this week, right?
Yeah, missing Mendy.
Which is interesting for Chilwell, who I've brought in. I don't know if that makes them. I think there's something for Salah here. I mean, he hasn't got on the end of that one. I think you'll see it now. But they're looking for him. He got that scuff shot that you mentioned a little minute ago.
Yeah.
They're the sort of chances when we were watching Timo Werner a couple of weeks ago that he wasn't getting. Salah's getting those chances, and all as we know, all it takes is one for Salah to appear at the back post and put it in. And
it's Mane that finds him with the outside of the boot, and yeah, Salah just he doesn't quite get there. Pickford intercepts. And Matt, you're right. This is becoming the Pickford pod. Last time it became the Werner pod, and this time the Pickford pod. So look, I promise not to speak about Pickford again unless he makes either a save or a howler.
Hello, so 5 minutes then.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Kapala from Malaysia. Good to know you're tuning in, guys. Loads of you are with us. Do ask your quick fire questions if you want us to try and cover as many as we can. In terms of the play, you'd have to say Everton have really held their own, and one was a very fair result.
Would you say they've possibly been the stronger side? Just looking at the stats now, I'd say
DCL's been through a couple of times. I've had a couple of half chances.
Yeah. More possession for Liverpool, but very similar shots. Liverpool probably missed the better chances, but then I think Everton are happy to play like that. You see DCL, he's been coming a lot deeper and sort of creating for himself and carrying the ball forward, but the space is there.
Yeah.
It really is.
What do you reckon we've not spoken about Thiago playing today. It's his first start for Liverpool, I think, in the Premier League. Came on against Chelsea. Look, Thiago's played many positions over the year in the midfield three. Is he arguably better in that 4 role where Fabinho plays as this kind of deep-lying centre mid that's sort of bossing play, or is he better either side of a 3 in kind of the traditional 8 position, which is where he's playing today? When Thiago broke onto the scene at Barcelona, I think I'm right in saying he was more of a 10, a little bit more sort of Cesc Fabregas, who then moved back and moved around. He seems very similar to Cesc in that respect. What do you reckon, Seb? Where's his best position, and where are we going to see him in this Liverpool team? Because there's an argument to say that Fabinho will go to centre back with Van Dijk out, possibly, and then
that's interesting.
And then does he play 4? What do you reckon?
I think the best football we've seen Thiago play is at Bayern in that role you're talking about, alongside the double pivot with, say, obviously having Kimmich or whoever next to you is rather helpful.
Yeah.
But I think if you're putting a World 11 together, him and Kimmich are probably the two you pick there with, say, a KDB ahead of them.
Yeah.
He's ideal for what Liverpool need, right? That player who, because last year they had Wijnaldum, Keita, Fabinho, Henderson, all players who do a role, but maybe lacked that player who really controls a match, can both create but also just lay it off to the others and keep things ticking over. As you can tell, I really rate him. I would
Yeah.
say he could be, injuries to goalkeepers and centre backs aside, the reason Liverpool take the league over Man City this year, because they have almost everything else in their side. The one thing they were missing was that world-class midfielder to just take the game by the scruff of the neck and completely dominate it. When he came on against Chelsea, it was half time he came on, right?
Yeah.
He had,
So.
I think he had the third most number of touches of any player
Yeah.
on the pitch,
Yeah.
and was only second to passes for Trent or something along those lines, and he played half the match.
Ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it was against 10 men, but yeah, they're ridiculous numbers, and he's got that in his locker. Look, I think he's right up there. And again, if I was putting together a World 11, if I was looking at a kind of that deep-lying DM that can boss play, he's up there. There's not many in the world that can do what he does, and I liken him to, we saw it with Xavi, we've seen it in the past with Pirlo. He's in that mould. There is one in the Premier League that I put in that category that I get slated for every time, so we're not going to dwell and talk about it for long, but it's my boy Jorginho. I think he does it just as well as anyone, and Mourinho said he's the best in the world at what he does. Pep was desperate to sign him at Man City, and when Pep didn't sign Jorginho and that fell through and he went to Chelsea, Pep didn't sign anyone that summer, and then a year later he got Rodri. But yeah, I mean, Thiago is absolutely world class. It's a brilliant signing for a very low fee, considering what he does, and he's still only 29. And at that position, he can play that position for a long time at the very top level. Pirlo was playing it till he was 35, and Xavi similar. Pirlo may have been older actually. So yeah, good bit of business, right?
The only thing would be the injuries that
Yeah.
we know he can pick up. But I guess, like you say, if the fee is low enough, if the wages are within their structure, they've got very high wages in general, Liverpool, but then naturally they're one of the best teams in the league. If they even don't have him for every game, but if he's there for the key matches, I think he makes a massive difference.
He does. He does indeed. Richarlison looks like he's got potentially an issue. There's talk on the bench. Richarlison's down on in one knee. Okay, looks like Coleman as well.
Coleman should hand it off the captain's armband. I think he's going off.
Coleman off. So, look, I mean, in terms of right-backs, it must be John Joe Kenny, I expect, that's on the bench coming on.
We appear to have Godfrey coming on.
Oh, Godfrey coming on, who can... Yeah, I think he has played... It looks like he may have done his hamstring there. I don't know.
Interesting for Mane again.
Yeah, very interesting for Mane if he's got a centre-back. I mean, it won't be Mina or Keane shifted out to right-backs. You can only think it will be Godfrey. I don't know if John Joe Kenny is on the bench. He played there a lot pre-season. Remember, they had Sidibe last year, who is a World Cup winner, by the way, the French right-back who was on loan, I think, from Monaco. He's gone back, so Coleman is now first choice again. Sidibe was first choice a lot last season, and Godfrey comes on. Who's on? Is John Joe Kenny on the bench, Seb?
He's not. They've Godfrey's come on. Then they've got Tom Davies, Fabian Delph, Alex Iwobi, Bernard, and Sigurdsson.
Yeah,
John Joe. I guess your only other option is what? Tom Davies played right back a little bit, didn't he?
Delph played left back a lot.
He did, but then I guess you're then shifting a centre back over to right back, so might as well bring on Godfrey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kenny not on the bench is an interesting one because he got a lot of minutes pre-season, Kenny, and he was looking quite good. And Ancelotti, I think, said a couple of good things about him. But I guess you only want so many defenders on your bench. Interesting debut for Godfrey. You're coming on, you're playing right backs out of position against the best team in the league. And against Mane, that's difficult for your debut, isn't it? Straight into a Merseyside derby, but good intro. Why not?
I wonder if Mane gets a lot of goals with his head, of course, especially from Trent crosses. So I wonder if he'll be more competitive in that aspect. Naturally, he's a centre back, and if I recall, he's a pretty big boy as well. But then you'd imagine he's a little less mobile than Coleman, maybe just a little less familiar with the runs that Mane is going to be making. Yeah. So you'd fancy that ups Mane's chances, but. Probably not that much more than it did already. We've seen Mane, already score a goal today, so he's clearly got it in him anyway. He's created one for Salah, created a chance for Salah. He's on the ball here as well now, actually. Yeah, he stood Godfrey up nicely there. And Thiago, I thought he'd put that in. You'll see this in a sec. Mane stands Godfrey up lovely, plays it back to Thiago, who just goes for the near post from the edge of the area. And from our angle, I thought that was just sailing straight into the top corner.
Wow, that is a worldy crossfield ball to find Mane from Henderson. And yeah, he does stand it up nicely, doesn't he? Thiago, by the way, guys, 6 million in FPL. If he is going to play in this number 8 position, he will get some goals and assists for that 6 million price bracket. It ain't bad, but yeah, don't expect him to get explosive returns. Brilliant football player, as you guys all know, doesn't always mean brilliant FPL player.
I'd say, if anything, as well, it just takes one of those Liverpool spots. If you want,
Yeah.
we've all got Salah or Mane. We've probably all got Trent or Robbo.
Other than me.
Other than you, of course.
No Liverpool defence for me.
But even then, you could have Salah and Mane, or I mean, people were looking at Keita earlier in the season. I guess Thiago's taking that spot now. But realistically, at some point in the season, I suspect even you could see yourself having 3 and that not including Thiago. I think I'd want to keep. Oh, just Robbo going forward to Mane here, and just wide.
That
he goes to
Robbo
place
Mane
it.
link up again. That would be an assist and goal for those two.
Yeah.
When you pick your Liverpool defender, Seb,
yeah,
and you're looking at Trent and Robbo, and we all look at the differences and go, okay, who's getting more touches, who's getting more crosses in, who's on set pieces, the price difference. Should we also look to consider what Liverpool midfielder we've got? For example, if you've got Mane, does Robbo become more attractive because then you go more explosive returns because one's more likely to assist the other? I mean, you could argue that Robertson's going to assist Salah too across the box, but there must be more assists between Robbo and Mane than Robbo and Salah, and likewise, there must be more between Trent and Salah. I've not looked at the numbers, but
yes, I guess that's an interesting one. It feels psychologically, it feels like that's a sensible decision.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's not, because who you pick in your fantasy team doesn't change the points they score.
Yeah.
So if I pick Robbo, it doesn't make Mane more or less likely to score points. Mm-hmm. So I should just pick the ones I think are going to get the most points, whether they're combining for those points or not. And yet, I do take your point though. It feels like there should be, almost a complementary good thing there.
Yeah.
But there isn't.
Yeah. Maybe there is against certain teams though. Maybe you could look at certain teams who are weak defensively down one side and go.
But then I guess you're targeting. Oh, just Salah on the ball in the box here from a free kick. Come to nothing corner. Just chipped over Salah in the box. He's getting closer. He's been the chance Mane just had. Salah was just hanging off him as well. He's coming really far inside. That's a lovely little ball over.
Guys, we've got people watching from Kazakhstan. That's great to know. We've got questions coming in. Who are our captains? How many points are we on? My captain is Salah, so is Seb's. In terms of points, I can't even tell you. But my rank's rubbish at the moment. Last season, however, I can tell you my ranks. That's the only one I care about, where we are at the end of the season. It was all right. I was on 20, I think on mid-20s, 24, 25k. So okay.
That's more than all right. That's more than all right.
It's. I mean, it's no 389, Seb.
Stop it.
So 389 was where you were last year. Remind me, I've asked you this question before. Have you got another top 500 finish in your locker, haven't you?
I've got a just over 1,000, 3,000, and then a fair few, the sort of high thousands, 10,000s. But that was my first top 1,000.
Nice. See, I've got a load between 15 and 25k, and I always seem to get between. I think I've got 5 of my last 7 or something like between 15 and 25k, which is why I've changed my tack this season, because I want to get into the top 10k. I want to
Everton into the box here. Just worked away. So ball over into the far post. I think that might have been, I want to say maybe Yerry Mina, didn't quite catch it, but headed back down across, and Liverpool are now on the counter. Lovely ball from Trent to Mane.
Nice.
Probably just seen through by Godfrey.
There's a lot of Kane captainers in the chat. Rodriguez is someone's captain. Fair play.
Oh, rate it. Is that the same person who captained Calvert-Lewin last time?
Oh,
I was slating that, and then he scored, didn't he?
Yassine, let us know who you captained last time. Liverpool on the counter. I know I'm delayed, but that will be something Liverpool will look to target. The pace Liverpool have got against Amina and Keane, you'd really think Mane and Salah can get in behind there.
I'd be interested to know people in the chat if they've wildcarded. I think there's probably loads of players we've all got the same. I'd like to know the ones that you've picked out that you think are a little bit different. Whether that's because they're going to come into form in a few weeks, which for me would be Antonio, or maybe you've looked at, like you said, Gianni, you've looked at Grealish and gone, you know what, I fancy Barkley.
Oh wow, I've just seen the replay of the Pickford foul on Van Dijk. No comment. Anyway, back to the Aston Villa, or say Barkley. So my replacement for KDB was Trossard, and I was looking at both Chelsea players, Trossard, and Villa players, right? So Pulisic, Havertz, and then Trossard.
Salah in the
Oh, we would have loved that, Seb.
nice ball from Mane over to Salah, 1-2 with Thiago, who's right up in the box there, and it falls on Salah's right foot, which, as we know, ends up in it being passed straight to Pickford.
What's he doing today? I'm just seeing the replay now, and Mane on the ball again, so it would have been a Mane assist. Great touch by Salah. Lays it to Firmino, yeah, so it would have been was it Henderson with the assist? Anyway, yeah.
I thought it was Thiago.
Oh, it may have been Thiago.
No idea.
Oh, it is Thiago, who is getting in the box a lot after our
Today very much feels like Salah padding stats, doesn't it? So far, would you say Salah's actually had a particularly decent chance, but lots and lots of touches in the area and quite a few shots from inside the box?
Yeah, I think he's had 3 shots, maybe 4, and I think 3 of them have been on target. So
this is probably quite a good example of why the whole Mane versus Salah debate exists, and Salah always looks better on paper, but you would argue that Mane is
more clinical. Although this season, Salah hasn't been wasting big chances like he was last.
There's still time.
Yeah. Well, today we've seen a couple already. I don't know if they're big chances, but So going back very quickly, both Chelsea midfield options and Aston Villa midfield options, they're 2 teams I want to see more before I commit. So I don't know if I want Pulisic because I might want Ziyech. I don't know if I want Grealish because I might want Barkley. Or maybe I want to see more of Watkins and I might go there for my Aston Villa cover. So they're 2 teams that I didn't want to go on because I think when I've made my decision, I'll probably want to stick with that player for a long time. And I don't want to be wasting transfers. So I'm giving it 1 more week or maybe 2 weeks in Chelsea's case to see who they're playing and to see how they click and then deciding. But with someone like Trossard, look, he's played 90 minutes every week. He's hit the woodwork 3 times against United. We're seeing enough from him to go, he's a main man there. And that's part of my thinking. Yes, we know Grealish and Barkley are main men.
Ball across Everton, across Liverpool's box even. Bobbles around a little bit. Richarlison looks to get on the end of it. I think that's gone out for a goal kick. I think Calvert-Lewin put it across.
I tell you what, an Everton goal now before half-time for the neutral would be a brilliant second half, wouldn't it? That would be great for Salah captainers, an Everton goal now. Oh, Richarlison, you're a second too late, aren't you?
They don't look particularly solid at the back. I'd say, another one, Gomez in the box here. But he's kind of messed that up a bit. He's offside. I'd say Liverpool don't look particularly solid at the back. They're keeping the ball high if they can. We know they do that. Of course, they press high. But if Everton get at their defence, it's not particularly solid, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, I mean, Gomez and Matip, I don't know how many times they would have played together. Not a huge amount, because Van Dijk doesn't miss many games. But then they're 2 that are seen as good, solid defenders alongside of Van Dijk. But without him, perhaps not.
I'm probably missing. I know earlier I said I don't think Van Dijk is anywhere near the player he was a year ago. Doesn't mean he won't be again.
Yeah.
But the thing especially watching now on mute because you're listening to us, right? But especially now, the thing they're missing. Liverpool in the box here with Firmino. Just put away. I think that'll be a corner again. I think the thing they're missing with Van Dijk though is that communication that we don't hear. Watching from home, we don't know how much he's organising things and getting people to go to the ball, come from the ball. If neither Matip or Gomez are used to taking charge of that on the pitch, maybe that's the thing they'll be missing more than his actual intervention in the ball.
Yeah. Any signs from this corner, Seb? And who's on the corner? Trent or Robbo from the right?
Not seen it yet. From that side, you would think Trent because they like the outswinger.
The outswinger.
But we're just watching a replay of the chance go in. Firmino again getting in there, but actually that might be a goal kick.
So we've not seen. I don't think we've seen a Liverpool corner yet. But for those in the chat and those watching,
we've had one from the side where Robbo takes it.
Did Robbo take it?
Yeah.
So what we've seen this season, guys, remember, is the reliance on Robertson has become higher. He is taking some set pieces, including corners from that side, the outswinger, but also some free kicks too. So that just goes towards that appeal for the 0.5 in money to go, I could get Robertson, save $500,000, he's still on set pieces like Trent, and getting forward for. I think if you're on a wild card or you're looking at bringing in one Liverpool defender only, as I am, it will be Robertson over Trent for me. If they were the same price, it's a much harder argument. But for 0.5 saved, it's Robertson for me. I mean, you could argue the same argument is there with Salah and Mane now, and the prices for Salah are climbing, and Mane's down to 11.9. What do you reckon, Seb?
I think as long as you're conscious of the decision you're making, all else being equal, we think Trent is probably the better option, right? If prices are the same, you probably choose Trent. But given you have that 0.5 saving, and if percentages and differentials are your kind of thing, we know Robbo's got fewer. So if you do back him to score more points, you'll feel it more heavily. As long as you're making that decision with the knowledge that you're not actually going, oh, Robertson is 100% the better option, you shouldn't have both or whatever. If you're consciously then putting the funds somewhere else in your team and hopefully making up that value somewhere else, I think it's not a bad shot. I think it's a lot closer than it was last year. As we saw at the start of this season, shot from Richarlison from the edge of the box, just over. Never particularly anything in it, but again, another little chance created by James, who's held off Thiago there, just proving that he can handle the Premier League.
Everton are passing the ball nicely though, aren't they? Especially in midfield, and it is a great midfield battle.
Yeah.
And Richarlison there obviously gets his shot away. He is playing left of a three in the position where he's been all season. What are your thoughts, Seb, on Richarlison as a left forward versus in a front two as we saw last season? Do we like him off the left? Because I think that's perhaps a little bit more natural for him running off the left and cutting in on his right. That's where we saw him a lot at Watford. But then for Brazil, he sometimes, wears the number 9 shirt even for Brazil, which is interesting.
Absolutely. But then again, we'll still, obviously Neymar maybe feels that sort of coming inside. He comes into that 10 and the left side as well. Richarlison will still play a similar game for Brazil, obviously, though he's played on the right a fair bit for them.
Yeah.
I think, like you say yourself, that coming from the left suits his game more. It gives him more space. It allows him to arrive where he wants. We saw for Watford a lot of those arriving at the far post, whether it's headers, volleys, tapping things in. Just on the edge of the area there. Mane's gone down. Definitely a free kick, not a bounty. James yellow card. Mane's just gone down on the edge of the box there for a Liverpool free kick.
Oh yeah, keeps up to date with that yellow card. That's great for me. Overall rank, always thinking. It's funny how we now watch football, isn't it? A player that you don't have concedes his clean sheet or gets a book in and you're like, get in, or it gets the assist as James did, and I'm like, damn, I don't have James.
That ties exactly into what I was just saying as well, funnily enough, because in real terms, you kind of don't care whether Richarlison's in a 2 or left of a 3. It's about how he's performing. In fantasy, because of the classification as a midfielder or forward, we put a lot of stock in that. And if anything as well, now we see him as a forward playing on the left. So psychologically, we're like, oh, that's worse. I now don't want him.
Yeah.
Even if it's actually better for his real life prospects.
It's so fun, isn't it? But we see that and we go, oh, last season he was playing in a front 2. Now he's in a front 3 on the left. Not as good an FPL asset. But actually, when you look at the numbers and go, no, actually, he's more dangerous on the left. So it doesn't make a difference that he's moved back a little bit or wide a bit. How's this set piece looking, Seb? Has it come in from Trent?
Trent took it. I think he went for a shot. It was cleared away, and then there was a follow-up again from, I believe, Thiago. So there's another shot from Thiago.
Wow, I'm just looking at it now as well. And yeah, I mean, he does it like he's gone for the shot, or maybe it's that whole aim for the back post and hope someone gets a touch on it. But against Pickford, why not? But from that angle, sorry. From that angle, Trent will be looking at this season going, I've not had the best start to the season. I've seen Reece James come on and play for England in a game that's meaningful. And I think, look, Trent is still the number 1 England right back, of course, but he'll be looking at the likes of Reece James and thinking, I need to keep my game high because there's strength and depth here, and I want to be the starting right back in the Euros because he's not had the best of starts. And he had a few doubtful games last season. At the end of the last season, he sort of tailed off once they won the league. So,
he's never been the strongest defensively.
No.
So his thing has been coming from the right back. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he should play centre midfield because even though his talents could suit that, the point of playing him at right back is he has that space and time to really make use of what he has as a great right foot. But I think if he's not the best defensively, and if you're not seeing that output now from his attacking game, maybe you do start asking those questions.
Yeah. He's probably got the best. I don't know. Has he got the best delivery in the Premier League? De Bruyne.
Definitely De Bruyne.
De Bruyne followed by Trent, though.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I honestly think by the end of this season, we'll be saying Reece James is up there in the top 3 for delivery as well.
Another James corner from the other side. I don't know who else would have taken it. I guess Dean, but he's now taken one from either side, importantly. Gone for the same corner again there, going straight into that, just outside Adrian, into the crowded area. It got cleared away this time.
Seb, best left foot in the league. I think 2 are potentially playing right now, and they're both toffees. Rodriguez
and Dean and Rodriguez.
Yeah, Dean and Rodriguez potentially are in the top.
How do you define best left foot? Yeah. Because I guess Salah might be the best left footer.
Okay, let's go for a set piece cross, or so a corner or a free kick. If you're looking for a get on the end of this, who's taking that free kick. Luca Dean's up there, right?
I would say Luca Dean, apart from James seems to have taken a load of them off him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're probably missing someone obvious. With the two right in front of us feel like they're definitely up there.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't put Salah or Robbo in the top three, I don't think, in terms of delivery. I'm trying to think across the big
Oh,
teams.
Salah, speaking of Robbo, Salah just played, I think it was meant for Firmino, but Robertson is coming in at the far side again, and that might have been cleared by Richarlison. So right back next season for Richarlison then.
4 minutes added time, by the way, guys. We're into the third of it. Salah. He's been finding players with that through ball quite a lot this season, where he drifts inside and sort of puts someone in, and they've not been getting on the end of it. But yeah, he does seem to be a little bit more creative this season, Salah. Maybe not as greedy.
I'm very encouraged by what I've seen. He's getting touches in the box. He's getting shots away. He's getting the biggest difference between, and that's half time here, I think.
Yeah.
The biggest difference between your stats and your eye test is when he's in the box but doesn't touch the ball, so he's there in waiting. And also, like you say, he's starting to create things. There's a bit of an all-round attacking threat, even more so than in the past there. You just want him to be putting those ones away that he catches his heel on sometimes.
Guys, get your questions in, because we will get loads of you hopefully joining us for half time. So please do get your questions in and let us know what you want us to answer. We're here to answer your questions. We've had a really exciting first half, haven't we? Bale, let's talk a little bit about Gareth Bale and Spurs. Seb, will he start? I don't think he'll start for his debut. I can see him coming on for his debut. What do you reckon?
I'm with you there. I think, how long has it been since he's played consistent football? Is there a desperate need for him to start? I don't believe they're missing. They've got. I don't think Bergwijn's fit, but they've got Lucas, right? Lo Celso's out, but Ndombele will play in that role. There's not an immediate need for him, and they've just come off an impressive victory. I think it's a very easy choice to introduce him from the bench.
Yeah. Amin asks, Robbo or Trent? Amin, we're not going to go there. We've just spent 15 minutes talking about those two fullbacks. But thank you for asking the question. I'll give my 1 second answer. Robbo, because you're saving money. There's not much between it this year. Michael Healy says, fair play to getting Hugo Lloris on this channel. That's not the first person, Seb, that's likened you to Hugo. I'd definitely take that.
It's better than many other footballers, I'm sure. So yeah, I won't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure I see it, but okay.
It's the new Barnet trim, I reckon. It's got that kind of that and the beard going on. Yeah, I like it.
My partner did this. It's not bad.
Good effort. Leo Wang asks, thoughts on Mahrez over De Bruyne?
When you say over, I mean De Bruyne's injured.
Yeah.
So is that long term? Unless you're going to show me something very impressive with that couple of million, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But right now, yeah, I mean, I looked at playing with Mahrez myself. I have James in the team, which has turned out okay so far today. I didn't quite have the money to maybe move a James to Mahrez, and I want to hold off on Chelsea, like we discussed earlier. Ziyech is probably the pick I want, so I'm happy to wait, see how it falls, and then jump on him if the opportunity's there. In terms of long term, I think you've got to have De Bruyne if he's fit. Mahrez maybe as a complementary option to him, but not instead of.
Robbie meant Bale up there for having best left peg. Fair enough. So up there with Luka Dean, up there with James, and also we've just mentioned another great left peg in the Premier League, Ziyech. I think he's going to be up there. Remember, he plays on the right of a three, but he's left-footed, and so often we see this, don't we? Like, it's become so fashionable for wide forwards to play on the opposite flank to their foot. So, for example, Mo Salah's left-footed, plays on the right, and I go back to like the Iron Robben days, and we always saw very left-footed playing on the right. Now, and Iron Robben was a bit different then because most didn't do that, but now everyone seems to do that, don't they? And
you'd almost say it might be more prevalent than a correct footer playing on the correct side.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, take Gareth Bale. He's a great example. Played originally as a left back, but then as a left forward or a left winger. But has since gone to Real Madrid. And when you look at all of his recent performances at Real Madrid, he's been playing on the right. So it'll be interesting to see, has Bale become a right forward, back at Spurs? Now, that could be because Zidane was doing Zidane things. But it'll be interesting to see where he fits into that Spurs lineup. I mean, the front three of Son on the left, Kane down the middle, and Bale on the right looks like it will scare most defences. But we've seen Spurs really successful in recent weeks playing Kane and Son in almost a two, and kind of Son even more advanced than Kane going in behind, and Kane then getting loads of assists. What are your thoughts to the sort of look and feel of that front line, Seb?
Like
You must have looked into this in detail with your day job.
So I guess, like we discussed a bit earlier, I think currently they are outperforming what they should according to the stats. Both Kane and Son have produced many more returns in goals and assists than either their XG or XA say they should. We know from the past, though, that Son will outperform his XG. He's a clinical finisher. Kane usually hits his XG pretty much on the nose, give or take.
Yeah.
I think, like you've said, that Kane, they've almost steered right into that Kane dropping back thing, haven't they? Despite, he's got lots of touches and shots in the area this season. But again, maybe that comes from those matches, which have really boosted those stats. I think traditionally going forward, you're maybe looking at Kane coming deep and Bale and Son going beyond, which from a fantasy point of view, Kane can, there's only 1 point difference between an assist and a goal for him if you put bonus aside. If it means Son and Bale are there for the goals, I quite like it. I think a lot of us have got the Kane and Son double up. I'm not as confident on it myself as others are. I've mostly done it as you could maybe call it a defensive move or a holding move. Maybe Kane becomes Aguero, maybe Son can move back to KDB.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those. I'm on wildcard. A lot of people are doing it. I don't see other areas to put that money where I could also get a point return out of it in the short term. So fine, I'll go with it. But I don't know if I'll have both of them long term, simply because, and this has been discussed to death now, hasn't it? But it's still a Mourinho team. Do we really think that £19 million worth of FPL asset is going to return that much in a Mourinho team post 2007?
Love that, post 2007, where we've seen a lot of sort of parking the bus Mourinho teams. I'm very happy with one Mourinho forward at the moment, but those I have seen a lot of good wildcard teams with sort of the Kane and Son double. But maybe it's a short term because they're looking explosive. But then I guess when you've got a Kane, you can easily go, Aguero's playing again, let's put him in. And your thoughts, Seb, on Aguero and there being a Man City forward that potentially is going to be looking to start games now because they have missed a number 9. Now, my thoughts on Aguero are it's just too soon. We need to see how match fit he is and is he ready to start games. Just because he's been back in training a week doesn't mean he's match fit and ready to go. Do you think Pep will play him because they don't have a 9 and because they don't have KDB? Or do you think because he's been out for so long, he's eased in?
The quotes on Aguero were something along the lines of, we're pleased to see him back on the pitch, which you obviously assume is the training pitch.
Yeah.
With Jesus out, there's certainly a chance, and KDB, simply because of numbers, there's certainly a chance he starts. If Jesus was fit, I think you definitely see him on the bench or maybe not even in the squad. Maybe. I'm happy to hold off myself. I've got Kane. It's a very easy move to Aguero. I think without, like we mentioned, I did my wild card probably the opposite of how I'd normally like to do it. I did it quite quickly and quite instinctively. So one of the teams I didn't look into too much was City. But without KDB, with, say, a Sterling or a Mahrez, Foden playing off the front, no Jesus, no Aguero, there are points there, but I don't know if I can identify where they'll come from. So maybe I'm happy just to sit it out and wait. I'm not a massive believer in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll certainly be a hypocrite at some point in the season and try and cover a team because if nothing else, it'll make me feel better on a Friday night. But you're picking players, not teams. So if I can't identify that player in the Man City team, which traditionally for me would be KDB, I'm probably going to leave it alone. When Aguero is fit, and by fit, I mean if he plays 90 this weekend, maybe that's enough. One of the rules of FPL in the last few years has been Aguero fit, you pick Aguero, right? So if he looks like he's back, and if Kane doesn't perform this week and Aguero scores, I think we know what's happening in everyone's transfers.
Yeah.
So being on that early, if you've wildcarded him in, cool. It's definitely a gamble. But if he's fit for a few weeks, I think he'll be in my team.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be considering it. My only concern is when Jesus comes back and them sharing minutes. But what we've seen with Aguero in the last few years, you just have to ride the wave, and there'll be weeks where he comes on as a sub and gets 10 minutes and 1 point. But there'll also be weeks where he comes on as a sub and he only needs that 20 or 10 minutes to register points. His points per minute is way better than anyone else over the last few seasons, and that's because he's just so explosive and the game's most explosive player.
I think Aguero plays more than we think. I think you remember those weeks where he doesn't, and those stick in your mind. But if you were to go back and look at the minutes when they're both fit, Aguero plays.
And is it his last? I think I'm right in saying his contract's out. Is it his last season, or has he got a couple of years? But there's
In
strong
theory,
talk of him going at the end of
yeah,
the
in
year.
theory, this is the last season, and he's spoken of wanting to go back to Argentina to finish his career.
Yeah.
But he's also mentioned, obviously, never wanting to play for another team other than City in Europe, hence the Argentina thing. I think it was a few years ago, maybe when he signed his last contract, he mentioned he wanted to be here until they won a Champions League.
Yeah.
Of course, we've seen how that's gone for people like Buffon, so maybe he won't actually stick to that one. But just seeing the replay on the goal again for Everton. In slow motion, it looks like Adrian's made a mistake. At full speed, I think he's done well to get his hands up. Never mind, try and stop it.
Oh, it's so close to his body though. Like his hands are. He has to save it. I think he has to save it.
Fair.
I do think if that was Alisson, I'd be saying the same thing now.
Yep.
At first, I didn't.
In that case, I think that's fair enough. That's a decent test of how you're rating that.
Yeah, it is. Would you be blaming Alisson or Edison the same way? Guys, thank you all for joining us. Loads of you asking questions in the chat. I saw one earlier about Dallas or Ayling, and look, Seb, not only are you an FPL pro, 389th finish last year in overall rank.
You can't mention it again now.
Well, look, the average viewing time on these videos is like 5-6 minutes. So as long as I say it every 5-6 minutes, we're fine. The same people aren't hearing it twice, and I've only said it 3 times. So, but also, Seb, you're a massive Leeds fan now, and you know that Leeds set up very well. Dallas we've seen playing obviously as a fullback, but can play centre mid as well, and has played there a bit. Ayling can play centre back, but has played mostly at fullback. We've seen Leeds in a back 5. We've seen them in a back 4. You were saying last time we were on, they only play with wing backs so a back 5 or 3 when they're playing against teams that play a front 2. Is that right?
Yes.
So against Sheffield United, for example.
Yeah, exactly. With the signing of Llorente, the centre back, we now have Cooper, Robin Koch, and Diego Llorente, who, in theory, are 3 first-choice centre-backs.
Yeah.
Although we have needed a backup one either way, so that's got some Leeds fans thinking maybe we could go to the 3 at the back full time, which does work okay for us. But traditionally and up to this point, Bielsa has played 4 at the back against everyone but 2 striker formations where we have played 3 at the back. The difference for us in FPL is that usually means Ayling will come into centre back. It could mean Calvin Phillips will drop back, but typically Ayling comes in. He still will maraud up that right a little bit, because then Calvin will drop in, Cooper or Koch can shift wide, but it will reduce his attacking output. The key thing, and this is where a lot of people are seeing, Dallas will play in midfield. When we play that system, Dallas doesn't play left back or left wing back. He goes into a centre mid role, a very fluid centre mid role. His heat map from Sheffield United was crazy. He had as many touches on the left as he did on the right, and he was playing centre mid. But I think, and in that match, he had a very good chance to score as well. But then Ayling actually had exactly the same chance on the other side, and he was from centre back. If we're playing 4 at the back over the long term, and if we're not, you'll see that. If Bielsa makes a change, he'll stick to it. Yeah. If we're playing 4 at the back, Ayling is the one for me, and I have finally put my money where my mouth is, and I have Luke Ayling in my team now.
Good, because so many on wildcards, including Toby, who joins us for these Scoutcast match days quite often, he's gone Dallas, but he doesn't know a huge amount about Leeds, just like me. And that intel you've given about the back 5 versus the back 4, depending on opponents, and the 2 up front versus the front 1 or front 3, I guess that's something you've got from the Championship, and that was a common theme, and we've seen it at the start of this season too. So you think moving forward with them signing Llorente, who, by the way, guys, Llorente started for Spain last week. Like, this is a guy that has got a huge amount of pedigree, so you'd think he'd be a starter. Do you think they will go back 5 then? Because we have seen Leeds creating or having a lot of shots against them, losing a lot of goals, and they were so good at the back in the Championship. That just shows, I guess, the level of opposition and how that's changed. But will you want to shore them up?
I don't think the back 5 would particularly change our defensive prospects, to be fair. It's the man marking system we employ, which I think, when you watch us play without having seen much of us, it'll look chaotic at the back. That's because we go very hard on man marking as opposed to zonal, whereas most teams in the Premier League, if not all of them, will mark zonally, or at least mostly mark zonally. We exclusively man mark, and the way we do that is we leave one centre back free, and then Bamford has to mark both the opposition centre-backs. So then it was the role Ben White did so well for us last year, and the one that Robin Koch has now taken up this. He will be the free player at the back, and he will sweep up, say, a free striker or through balls or what have you, in the kind of libero role. But then everyone else will be man-to-man. Doesn't mean they can't switch their men, but you'll see them tracking those men across the pitch, which means that people will be pulled right out. Like Dallas has mentioned a few times himself in interviews, that if he's playing left back, he could end up on the right wing marking someone because that's his man and he's followed him.
Yeah.
And as long as everyone knows that and sticks to it and passes their men on if they need to, it does work for us.
Yeah.
But it will mean it looks chaotic. And the key thing, and I think why we're conceding more in the Premier League, is, as we've seen from Liverpool and City, you don't just defend when you're off the ball, right? If you keep the ball and you press it well when you lose it, people don't get near your box. We did that amazingly in the Championship. It'll be a little harder in the Premier League, although I'm pleased to see how we're reintroducing that again. But the key thing is probably in the Championship when Luke Ayling was versus, random left winger from second tier Middlesbrough or Midlands club or something versus Mane.
There are some good Midlands clubs in the Premier League.
But when you see, like, if it's our defenders who, I rate them, but they're not Champions League defenders, or not yet at least.
Yeah.
They're going to come up against harder one-on-one battles, and they'll lose those more often than they did in the Championship. So we will concede more chances. I don't think the shape of our back will actually particularly change that on the stats side. It's more for how we'll look going forward and the FPL assets. If we move to it full time, obviously then we would have 3 centre-backs, so you'd think Ayling would be right wing-back. The issue there is that Bielsa really likes the role he plays in the back three on that right. I think we stick with 4 at the back, especially with injuries at the moment. Just as a heads up, what you'll see this week from us might not be indicative. We have both Cooper and Llorente out injured, so we're likely to see Pascal Struijk at the back in a 4.
Right, good to know. Van Dijk out, says alternative Leering. And by the way, second half's just starting, guys. So look, do watch the second half, mute the TV, listen to us on Scoutcast Matchday. Why not? I'm sure we're going to give you more FPL value than Steve McManaman. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, Van Dijk out. Does that mean double Liverpool defence is now sketchy? It says alternative Leering. Look, I think it does. I think one Liverpool defender is more than enough because we do need clean sheets there. James says, can't believe that Az kept going on about Havertz as captain and then wildcarded him out. Did he wildcard him out? I know he used his wildcard. I didn't see his team, but if he's gone without Havertz, then he went on the FPL show on Thursday night with all their big audiences, and he's going to get definitely called out for you don't even have Havertz
Did you see that he streamed last night?
I saw he was going to. I didn't watch it. So is there definitely no Havertz in Seb?
He does not have, unless he's changed it since. He did not have Havertz at the time. He was.
Fair play. I mean, look, most on a wild card wouldn't go Havertz, and I guess you can only go with what your current team is. So I've been on the FPL show many a time, and where I've changed my opinion. But from Thursday night to Friday night, so much can happen. And I guess that De Bruyne injury, like it did to most of us, it changed our thinking.
I think he took the opportunity. He wildcarded, and then he thought, well, now I can have Pulisic, and he rated Pulisic higher. Havertz wasn't worth a -4 for him, clearly, and he wanted to captain a Chelsea asset. But with the wild card, he got to move Havertz to Pulisic, and I'm not sure if he's captaining Pulisic, so maybe there's a bit of a discrepancy there.
Robbie's saying he got Werner in.
Oh, we got Werner. I thought we had Pulisic.
Let us know, guys, in the chat. I must admit, I've not seen his team. I actually am really annoyed that I sold Werner, and I had to do it to get Salah in, but without my early transfers, I wouldn't have had to take a -4. So let me just quickly talk you guys through what I did. So I'm going to actually get my tweet up from this morning because it lays it out very simply. So I ended up going Foden to Salah, Werner to Brewster early in the window, early in the week off. I had the exact funds to do so. Salah, and interrupt me if anything happens, Seb. Salah was climbing in price, Werner was dropping. I had to do it then and there. That was my free transfer used.
Robertson ball into the box, just away from Firmino. Henderson on the half volley from the edge, just over. I'd like to say Pickford had it covered, but I know your thoughts on that.
Robbo's so far advanced. Okay, right, back very quickly. I'm going to just round up what I did. So I then saw the KDB injury and had to get him out for a 4-point hit, brought Trossard in. If I didn't make those early transfers, I could have just done KDB to Salah, banked my free transfer. I'd have had it next week, and then it would have meant no 4-point hit. It would have meant Werner was starting against Southampton, which I really like, and it would have meant Foden was starting for City as well. So
hey, that's hindsight, though. You know, I think people are a lot more scared of early moves than they should be. Like how often this international break has absolutely been carnage, but then a lot of people have been able to call on the wild card, which is what it's there for.
Yeah.
I think often you will get more value. I don't necessarily mean prices, but that too. You will get more value out of identifying early moves and making them than holding on to the Friday night, Saturday morning, and probably making the same move anyway 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is why I'm always happy to pull the trigger early, I guess. It's just I was really reluctant to sell Werner because of Southampton, and you know you've seen all the talk about it, but I was banging the drum for their high line, and I was actually saying this 3 weeks ago, the high line, because I was like, oh, it's worth keeping Werner in for the next couple because in 3 weeks he's got Southampton, and we saw what just happened to them against Spurs. You know when Spurs scored, was it 6? So yeah, I also think Werner's going to play number 9 today. I think it will be Pulisic starting on the left. I think Havertz will play 10. I think Mason Mount will play on the right of the 3 where he did for England. And then I think it'll be Werner up front. And Werner and Havertz linked up really nicely for Germany in the week, both with a goal and an assist against Switzerland in the 3-3 draw.
If this season is anything to go by, we've got a Timo Werner hat-trick incoming, haven't we?
We definitely have, Seb. Fortunately, his ownership's not as high.
I think I've just missed that, but I think there was a little Everton chance there. It's not.
I thought you were going to say something else there. I thought you were going to say goal. So yeah, I'm just watching it, and it's James on the halfway line with a worldy ball out to looks like it's probably Luca Dean. Luca Dean with a first-time cross. DCL gets there just before Adrian, and it's a shot on target, but sort of smothered / saved by Adrian. Good run from Calvert-Lewin and a brilliant first-time cross from Dina. His left foot is an absolute wand. I'm surprised actually bigger clubs haven't sniffed around him. We saw Spurs, we saw United, we saw Chelsea all buying left backs this summer. And this is a guy that, you know, probably isn't first choice for France, but gets game time for France, has come from Barcelona. Do you reckon he's better than Everton?
Ooh, I think that's harsh. An Everton team that have just signed James, Allen, Doucouré. I think Everton are now definitely, if he was too good for them before, they're now up to his level.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, right? You want your team to sign players that are too good for them. Otherwise, you don't go anywhere. You look at the signings Leeds have made this summer, and they're not all the signings I would have wanted, and not the same ones I had looked at myself earlier in the summer. But bringing in Spanish internationals, German internationals in positions we need, the only thing we probably really missed is that replacement for Hernandez. I'm very happy with our business, and I would say almost all of those players could have gone to a better team, in quotation marks. So, yeah, I can't knock that.
Yeah. Speaking of sort of Leeds transfer, don't want to hang on Leeds too long, but the one you probably really wanted, Seb, was Ben White, I'd have thought.
Yeah, early on for sure. As much for his own qualities as the fact that he played a season with us, been so very impressive. If we had Ben White instead of Koch in that first match, maybe we lose to Liverpool still, maybe we don't. Because I think Koch, while he didn't look bad at all, there was a little uncertainty. He gave away that penalty. I think he gave away both penalties. He's looked very solid since. So maybe just that for that continuity, we would have wanted Ben White. But we got Koch for considerably less in the end. He's a German international. It maybe meant we could spend elsewhere, such as Rodrigo. Mm-hmm. So while disappointed early on, not too worried at the end of it.
Guys, I don't like to look at bonus points too much at half time, and I know the official FPL account gets stick because it tweets it out, but just so you guys are aware, the bonus points currently are on Mane for all 3, Keane on 2, and Robertson on 1, but I do expect that to change. If it stays 1-1, then you expect Mane will probably get it. So yeah, I mean, Salah owners, many of you in the chat own Salah. I reckon probably 60-70% of you in the chat will own Salah. How many of you have captained him? I'm probably about half of that. So there's a lot of Salah captainers watching that are just thinking, give me something. Are we going to see it, Seb? He's had 2 weeks off. He's meant to be bright. He's not played for Egypt.
As you say that, he has just miscontrolled a ball. Oh, Robertson down as well. He's just miscontrolled a ball going out.
Robertson down and
is that Alan
injured?
He's possibly down in the way that you are when you injure another player and go down yourself.
Okay.
I didn't see the incident, but Alan is down and looks actually injured, and Robbo is got a replay coming up now.
Yeah, that's exactly what Robbo's
I'm not
done.
sure what's happened there. Is he just completely taken Alan out off the ball?
It's a yellow card. I think he's just stayed down to try and not get the yellow card, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's completely off the ball. I think he's just clipped his heels because he was getting away from him. That's definitely a yellow card if that's what he's done.
Oh yeah, the ref can't see it though. The ref's got his back to them, and I think is it Michael Oliver reffing? So will that be given as a yellow?
Are you allowed to VAR those? Because if so, I don't know if yellows are. Although if he's not given them, I think in theory maybe. He's certainly talking to someone. You'd imagine
he couldn't have given the free kick because he didn't see the free kick because his back was turned. So if someone's told him to give the free kick, they can tell him to give him a yellow, right?
Oh, so he's been pushed, and I guess he's gone down and then either taken Alan down on purpose or by accident as he goes down.
He's definitely taken him down on purpose. That looked on purpose to me.
When you see this angle coming up now, he's had a massive shove himself.
Okay. So yeah, he's carrying the ball well, Robbo. And okay, he gets shoved from Decore, doesn't he?
And I think you're right. He probably kicks out because I've gone down. I'm going to take the ball. Take the player in possession down with me. But
well, I would love a Robbo. I hate to say it, and nothing serious, of course, but I'd be very happy with him going off injured, and I'd be very happy with the yellow. But I don't think he's going to get the yellow. But it does look like he might go off. I mean, it looks like it's his left ankle that he's getting some treatment on.
It'd be very interesting for FPL if Robertson was out for a week or two. I think you see a lot of Robbo back to Trent.
He'd also not be getting 60 minutes, so that's 1 point fewer.
Oh no! And if he's been booked as well, that'd be a solid 1 pointer, I'd imagine.
Well, he got the assist, didn't he?
Yeah. So what? 3 for one for turning up, 3 for an assist, losing 1 for yellow, so 2 points. Yeah.
Yeah, and looks like Milner's warming up, so I look forward to seeing if anything happens there. I think he'll run it off. I think he'll try and run it off.
He's up and walking. He's walking gingerly, but he looks all right.
He's a trooper.
He's jogging. Yeah, he's going to come back on.
Oh, Kev's telling us to be quiet. I bet Kev owns Robbo. Let us know, Kev. And look, what I'd say about Robbo is he's a hard man. He will play at 70-80% quite often. And remember, none of these footballers are often ever 100%. Like these are footballers that
never.
Like it's very rare you'll get someone that's. Eden Hazard always used to say like I'm 50% and that's quite normal for me.
Yeah, you see a lot in FM when people want your players to be 100% condition and perfect. In real life, you get that once a season if you're lucky, and that's the first game of the season if you haven't played internationals. Everyone's carrying all kinds of knocks or are tired from training, tired from the week before. It very much feels like a case of getting through the season, I would imagine, rather than being in perfect shape for it.
Yeah. Kev, he does have Robbo. Of course you do, Kev. It was so predictable. But you're right. Look, he's fine. His thumb's just gone up. He's. I think Milner's probably sat back down or close to. And Sergeant Martin points out if Robbo did go off, and we'll stop talking about this because he's playing, and Milner came on, that would mean no Salah on penalties. Because Milner,
don't do that to me.
Milner would be on pens, and we do see this with Milner. If he is on the pitch, the guy does take pens. I don't know. At some point, you expect Salah to go. This ain't happening. But
so, how do you reckon this game finishes? Then we've got 1-1 at the moment. First 10 minutes of the second half have been a little bit broken.
It's been a bit flat, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it's been a bit flat second half.
Both teams have that counter there, but it almost takes a group effort to allow either team to counter. If both teams now decide we're happy just to put our foot on it, you could see this being 1-1 for the next half hour.
I think it's going to finish 2-2. I can see another couple of goals in this, and
Salah and Calvert-Lewin I would take.
That'd be nice. That'd be so nice. With someone like Firmino getting the assist, so then no one's got him, and maybe I don't know Yerry Mina getting the assist at the other end. I can see Liverpool breaking that back line. I do think Calvert-Lewin will have the beating of Gomez, who seems to be marking Calvert-Lewin more than Matip. If they can get crosses in, DCL is so good in the air. And Gomez is quite a short centre-back. I think he's probably 6 foot, but not much more. So yeah, I'd like to see that battle. I just need Everton to get some crosses into him. What do you reckon, Seb?
Yeah, that's probably the one thing we haven't seen that much of so far. There was a few crosses to Calvert-Lewin earlier on. One came across Richarlison. But a lot more of their chances seem to have maybe come through breaking with the ball on the floor.
Yeah, just seeing the stat, last 5 minutes of possession, Everton have had 75% of it, and I could see an Everton goal to take it 2-1 and then Liverpool getting their late equaliser as they so often do. And Robertson's just sort of fluffed a cross and stayed down for a
Just
little bit
completely
longer.
air kicked that.
But
He's up now and fine. I think he was staying down with embarrassment.
yeah, it was one of those where you go, did the right foot kick the ball before the left foot? Because I remember, yeah, it did. So he's gone for the left foot cross and his standing foot has actually nudged the ball. That happens to us all, doesn't it? When we play at the park with our mates or when we were kids. So you don't usually see that in Premier League football, but he's allowed an off hit with his absolute wand of a left. So yeah.
Cavalier outside the box now. He's turning around going back. I think there's something here for Everton maybe. Got Luca Dean, you're a left foot wizard. Bring a ball in. Come to nothing really. There's definitely space there though.
Ooh,
possibly indicative of how they're playing.
Richarlison, post.
Kev, really?
Well, Kev's very reliable.
It must be well ahead of us.
Kev is very reliable. So Kev, don't do this to us. But I mean,
Hammers ball across to Richarlison, heads it. He should score that. It's not an easy chance because of how it's coming to him and how he's marked, but he is all of 5 yards out and just has to direct it down and under Pickford.
I'm just about to see it as well. One thing I'd say about Richarlison is he offers an amazing threat in the air. He's so good in the air, and it's a wonder of a ball again from James. He just sees that pass. It's not many players in the league see what James sees. You know, KDB of course is one, but there aren't too many. We have got an absolute premium asset here.
So here's one for you then. Similar to James, a lot of people maybe today were thinking, okay, Everton have been great so far, but do I keep them? Do I move for them? If I'm on wildcard, do I get them? Because their fixtures aren't as good as the ones they've just had, and they start with Liverpool. Well, clearly we've already seen James return today, but based on this performance, I would say Everton are up there with any of the teams that you would fancy to score no matter the fixture.
Yeah, like Liverpool were full strength to start, and in terms of attacking ability, they are full strength, right? And they haven't created in terms of big chances much at all. So, you know, Everton have looked way more solid at the back than I gave them credit for. And then they've looked really threatening going forward. You know, James' vision, as Matt Henley says in the chat, really is unreal. Richarlison should score that. And, you know, we would have seen 2-1 Everton with half an hour to go and 2 James assists. And again, if I was on a wild card and I wasn't, I probably only would be going one Everton asset. But that asset would be James over DCL.
So I've got both DCL and James, although, like I said, I'm tempted for not much came of that. Liverpool going forward, I think they've won a corner.
Have you seen a replay? I've not seen a replay of the Richarlison post yet. Should he have scored it, Seb?
I've only seen it once, like yourself, but it feels like it's not an easy chance based on where the ball's coming and the fact that he's closely marked and he's reaching for it.
And Adrian is there, isn't he? Adrian is on that near post as well, so it probably need a little bit of work.
The fact that he's got to it though, it's probably one of those where the XG is relatively low, but the post-shot XG, so that the fact that he's made the shot, actually is quite a bit higher because the fact that he's managed to get the shot away, you then think, okay, well now just direct that under Pickford. There's not much more he can do. Nothing came of that corner. Straight across the face. There's not much Pickford can do other than hope there. I think because he's got there, you'd maybe hope he does a bit more.
Robertson taking the corner for the in-swinger. Interesting.
Ooh, that's big. In terms of Everton's fixtures, just talking about that, I think after today they've got Southampton, Newcastle both away, Man United at home, Fulham away, Leeds at home, Burnley away, and then a few tougher fixtures. But that takes you right up to game week 12. And if you're getting, say, an assist out of James, maybe even something out DCL today, I'd really fancy those fixtures going forward. I'd happily hold on to a double up. Yeah. Even though I'm looking for that Chelsea asset, and I think the way I have to do it is James.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just missed that replay, but you'll see it here, I think, coming up. Adrian does well to cover that, to be fair.
Praise for Adrian, like it. I'm just seeing it now. So, I mean, James, the touch, and then the ball on a sixpence. And yeah, I think Adrian, to be fair, it would take some beating.
I thought Salah was in there. Ball over the top. Pickford comes out and claims it with both Salah and Firmino under him.
The touch from James to bring it down.
Yeah.
Levels, mate. He is levels. I'm really gutted I don't own him, and I can't see how I'm going to get him because I'm looking at Barkley, Grealish, I'm looking at Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech, I'm looking at bringing in a Chelsea and or a Villa midfielder, and I just can't see where I'm going to get James from. But I mean, let's have a quick look. His ownership's probably around the sort of 25-30% now. He climbed in price twice in the last game. It was only a couple of players that did that. Yeah, 41% ownership now.
Oof.
So his
I
ownership.
feel like maybe that's one of those. If you're not already on that wagon, maybe you look for the next one rather than getting on board.
I mean, DCL's ownership's at 50, so I think he's probably the most owned player in the game. I think Trent is under 50, and Kevin De Bruyne is now under 50. So
Yeah,
Dominic
Salah 26, yeah.
Calvert-Lewin will be the most owned player in the game, who is, by the way, blanking today, although has had a few sniffs, but no massive easy chances, has he, Seb? He's been involved. He had a header in the first half. He's beat his man for a cross in the second half with a shot well saved by Adrian, but sort of smothered. But Everton are definitely in the driving seat here. They look most likely to score. We've not seen much at all from Mane, who we thought would really give Godfrey a run for his money down that. Godfrey
Yeah, I
at
think that's
centre back playing right back. We expected Liverpool to go, let's put balls in behind Godfrey. He'll be slower on the turn. Let's bring him out wide where he's not used to defending. And Mane's been really quiet this second half. But it's what we often see from Mane.
Everton on the break here with James in a lot of space, but not really the options. He's gone for a shot. It's all right. Adrian's easily palmed that away. Probably out for a throw.
They need to get Mane into the game, don't they, Seb? I mean, we often see Mane go out of the game and then just pop up with a goal, and he's so clinical. It seems to be what he does. But
what we've not seen much of from Liverpool is those switches of play. A lot of which come from Robbo and Trent, but also Van Dijk. I wonder if missing Van Dijk at the back, where he'll just put his foot on the ball and then send it across to one of the wing backs, which then creates an overload on one side, creates space on the other, and gets them up the pitch. I don't really think we've seen all that much of that.
And Gomez and Matip don't have that in their locker. Not Van Dijk levels, of course.
Not to the same level, yeah. I wonder, maybe Everton are shutting that down. Like you say, Mane isn't getting on it too much. He's often the recipient of one of those balls from Van Dijk, or at least then a follow-up one from Trent. I wonder if that's because Van Dijk is missing, or because of how Everton are set up, they're managing to shut that down. They seem to have done a relatively good job man for man. Oh, if DCL's onside there, they're through. It's offside. Hammer's not quite got the pace either. But like you say, there's definitely space there. Richarlison, DCL, and James are finding those little pockets both in front of and behind Liverpool's defence.
Mm-hmm. And they've looked solid at the back, haven't they, Everton? So I said about Mina and Keane being questionable, but have they looked solid at the back, or have they been good at the back, or have Liverpool not done enough? I mean, I want to just turn our attention to Firmino, because he's the one we often don't speak about. Is he doing enough this season? Because we always talk about Firmino, sort of, he's the one that's underrated. He's the one that you don't really see all of his hard work, how he brings in Salah and Mane into play. But actually, what's he adding to them in an attacking force in a game like this?
So he reminds me of Bamford, but hear me out, because obviously I'm not saying. We know that, Patrick Bamford, especially from last year, a lot of Leeds fans and fans of other clubs who've seen us play and were waiting for the Premier League season, he doesn't score enough goals.
Mm-hmm.
But what he brings to the rest of the team is arguably worth those goals. Maybe we score goals because of it. Now, of course, you want both. You want a player who does that role and scores the goals. But those are the best players in the world. And, if Liverpool don't even have one up front, fat chance of Leeds having one. I think what we're seeing from Firmino is...
Ooh, yellow card Mane, and Dina is down.
Yeah, I think you've got a replay that's coming up. Yep, that's a fair enough yellow card. He does play for the ball, but takes Dean completely out in the air with a high foot.
Is it a yellow, Seb, or could they look at that for a red? I've not seen it yet.
That's not red.
I've not seen it, but Dina looks like he's in some discomfort. I don't know if he obviously had an ice...
Dean's back up. Dean's back up and fine here. I think they both go for it. It's Dean's favour, which is why Mane commits the foul. I think it's a fair enough yellow. Both have got eyes for the ball.
Eyes are on the ball, yeah. Eyes are on the ball, and Dina, however, did have an ice pack on his, I think, knee following the France game in the week, so he was doubtful for today. So I was just thinking, has he got a similar knock there? But it looks like probably something completely different. So yeah, go on, Seb. You were comparing Bamford to Firmino.
Yeah, first and last time to do that. I think you want more goals from both of them, but Firmino's not looked any different to how he did last season.
Yeah.
He'll score a few. He's had one chance today, I think, and been involved in a couple of others. We know he's not there to necessarily score 30 himself. He's there to facilitate the press, to facilitate Mane and Salah scoring the goals, and yes, absolutely to get a few himself. And I think he'd be disappointed he doesn't get more. I don't think he's an FPL asset, and he hasn't been for a long time. But in terms of how Liverpool play, you do very well to find a striker who didn't disrupt their system, and then also added more goals than Firmino did. I don't think you can reasonably complain.
Robbie asks, if DCL's form drops, at what point do we look at bringing him out? And this seems so knee-jerk because it's only been 67 minutes of one game where he's not done anything.
And he's been involved and he's had chances.
But obviously he's gone up 0.6. So yeah, Robbie, look, he's gone up 0.6, so you'll get the 0.3 when you sell a player. You only get 50% of the value you made. But would we be looking to move him on? I mean, no, not if he's still getting chances. Look, if the chances dried up for DCL and then he blanked and Everton stopped scoring goals, then I look at maybe bringing him out. But as long as I'm seeing my forward in a team scoring goals and in a team creating chances, of which he's getting many of them, I keep him there. But one thing I would say is if we see DCL's performances drop, but we see Everton still doing well and winning games, then you look elsewhere and you can't look past James. You take DCL out and you bring James in.
I'd say he's been more involved today than he has been in some of the past games. In fact, I think James has been very impressive today.
Yeah, he really has.
If you're losing DCL, I think it's a question of who you bring. Oh, just hold on a sec. Ball across. Come to nothing. Ball across Everton's face of Everton's goal. Cleared away pretty easily in the end. I think if you're losing DCL, it's a question of who you're bringing in for. I think people will look at Antonio ahead of Gameweek 8. But then Everton's fixtures are decent from there as well.
Guys, I've just got a. I'm doing my Jim White here. I've just got a text with the Chelsea lineup from my in the know at Stamford Bridge. Joking, it's been tweeted. Kepa Azpilicueta plays right back, which means my boy Reece James is on the bench. Christensen, Zuma centre back. We knew Thiago wouldn't play. Chilwell, Jorginho, Kante in the 2. Mount plays on the right. Havertz in the 10. Pulisic on the left. Werner in the 9. Absolutely called that half an hour ago. And for Southampton, there's no big team used there. It's as you'd expect, other than Theo Walcott makes his debut for the Saints. So that'll be interesting. It's Ings and Adams up front with Redmond on one side and Walcott on the other. So yeah, Walcott playing in where Armstrong usually would, but probably offering a little bit more going forward. So that'll be a good game. Looking forward to that.
What do you fancy for both real life result and fantasy returns from that one?
I think, knowing Werner's started in the 9, I think he's going to score today. I think I can see a kind of 1 or 2-0 Chelsea. I think they'll keep it clean though.
The thing that made me ultimately lose, and this is a long time ago now because I've wildcarded and everything, but originally I did Werner to Brewster ahead of the international break. The thing that sold it for me is we were watching their last match and Jorginho was on penalties.
Yeah, and Werner wasn't in the discussion because it was Tammy wanted the ball. And...
Exactly. Yeah. So even if he's playing up front and there's no Tammy, Jorginho's got it. Jorginho's playing again today when everyone's fit. Sure, maybe there's more spaces there.
Oh, Salah!
Oh, really?
Come on!
Nothing at the moment. Trent bringing it forward to Mane. Is that going to be? There's Jordan Henderson across. No assist, and yeah, nice goal, very nice goal.
Come on!
Jordan Henderson plays it into the box. It's cleared out very poorly, straight to Salah, who puts it home first time on the half volley. Nice finish.
I'm doing the Instagram takeover, Fantasy Football Scout. So come on, get in, Mo Salah. I am here doing my Scoutcast Matchday, and this will be on Instagram. But get in. So many of us have got Salah as captain. Delighted with that. Congrats if you've given Big Mo the armband. I want to. Come on, Mo. Get in.
What everyone wants to know is, should Pickford have saved it?
Oh, really? I've not seen it yet. I'm too busy doing selfies.
I don't think so. You've got a replay coming up now. Oh, no, he's nowhere near that. That's a lovely finish.
Get in. So that will be if it stays as it is, he'll get 3 bonus because he'll get scoring the winning goal. You get better in the BPS for that as well. So he'll probably get the 3 bonus. Oh, he's hit that clean. Come on.
That's very nice. So that combined with the I've not looked at the stats, but based on what we've seen with our eyes here, I would imagine Salah's had a good number of touches in the box, a decent number of shots, created a couple of chances.
No offside,
got his goal.
Cards.
Exactly. I think like you say, on for bonus and looking strong going forward as well.
Yeah. And no one got the assist there, so there's no one else that's like, if Robbo got 2 assists, you go, oh, okay, BPS higher. But remember, you get, I think, 3 BPS for scoring the winning goal. So Salah will be scoring the winning goal.
And interesting to note that it was Henderson that put that ball in. Alexander-Arnold was further back. He was involved in the build-up, but it was Henderson that came right and put that ball in, which is something Henderson has done. But based on that one moment, it's another example of maybe Trent not quite being involved where we want. Now, of course, that's not indicative of the whole match or the whole season, but it does make you wonder. If you're still holding Trent and eyeing up Robbo, you're looking at today's performance where Robbo's on those set pieces, he's got an assist. Trent is still involved, but you need more than just involved if you're paying that premium.
Yeah, John is asking, is Rodriguez James still on? Yeah, he is, mate.
Yeah, he is.
Look, I know he played for Colombia twice and he's had the long flight, but I'd expect him still to get 90. Could we see DCL coming back to make it 2-2? Let's hope so. Oh, Benedict changes captain from Salah to Kane. Look, Kane could get a brace. Oh. Who knows? I mean, it's not a bad shout at all.
When you're captaining a player, you're hoping for at least more than one return, right?
Yeah.
So if Salah, I mean, of course you want a goal or an assist, but when you're saying this is the player I think who's going to score the most this week in my team, you're thinking a goal and an assist or 2 goals.
Yeah.
I think Kane's easily got a brace in him today, or this weekend. While I've captained Salah and I'm happy with the goal, Kane could definitely turn out to be the better option still.
I'm absolutely gutted that Reece James isn't starting, by the way. I've got him in FPL, and I just know now he's going to start midweek. I think it's against Sevilla.
Yeah. Is that time to... Because we discussed a little while ago that when he didn't play, but we thought maybe to help shut down Zaha, Azpilicueta on that side. This week, I don't think Southampton have got that same threat.
Redmond, yeah. I mean... I still think he'll start 75% of Premier League games, but it's just maybe not enough. And with the Champions League, if he goes with Reece James in the Champs against Seville, then you go, okay, Azpi will be back in at the weekend. Maybe I've got to bring him out. It will be a sad day though, because I feel like he'll be a really explosive right back when he does play. But at 5 million for a defender, you don't really want to be wasting transfers on those guys. So you want someone that can be set and forget, and for that you need them to play 90 every single week.
Easy one to chill well. But DCL nearly in. Great covering back from Robertson.
I've got 5.5 million in the bank, Seb. I'm going to have to go Trent or Robbo. I mean, the plan was always to get Liverpool cover. So
do you think that's your transfer this week? Based on, the fact you've seen 75 minutes of one game, do you reckon maybe you're looking at James to one of the Liverpool defenders?
Yeah, it depends what happens in the Champions League. I definitely won't be making any early transfers despite price rises because of the Champions League. My plan was to get the midfielder from Aston Villa or Chelsea in. My next 2 transfers are Burke, Sheffield United, 4.5 bench fodder, out my team for an Aston Villa or a Chelsea midfielder, and then to upgrade one of my defenders to Trent or Robbo. So those 2 transfers won't change. I just don't know if I'll be upgrading bench fodder at the back, or maybe now Reece James. Yeah.
Fair. Do you have a plan for? I know you're big on City beforehand. City or Salah getting in there, but just put out for a corner from Michael Keane. Only caught the end of it, not sure who put it in, but he was just getting that touch on the inside right, and it taken away from him. Keane cleared it. Yeah, Keane got there first and put it away relatively easily. So with, say, Chelsea, if they start looking like they're on form, if Man United come back, we know at the moment they've looked terrible, but they're probably not going to spend all season looking terrible. And if they do, they're going to change manager.
Yeah.
And then there's Man City. I know you were big on them. Have you got plans to maybe move things around there, or are you kind of just going with you want your Chelsea midfielder, you want Aston Villa? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't quite...
That is a very good save from Pickford. I think it's a Trent corner. I want to say Mane got up for it. No, Matip. Sorry, Matip got up for it. And that is a very good save from Pickford.
Interesting that Trent is taking the corner now on that side. We just saw Robbo take one on that side.
Admittedly, again, the old Pickford is short. He has to dive for everything.
Oh, that's a good save.
It's a very strong one-hand save.
That's a really good save. And it's a great header because Matip looks like he's on the penalty spot heading that. So he's quite far out. And the ball looks like he's got a bit of work to... Oh, it's a really good save. Fair play.
Oh, he's under a lot of people as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's decent.
So we would have seen a Trent assist there. Get in. No Trent assist. And loads of you are going to have Trent. So apologies for that. But yeah, Matip does offer that threat. There's not too many players in that Liverpool team that you fancy at set pieces without Van Dijk in the team.
Firmino off for Jota.
Interesting. So that means Salah up top is number 9 probably.
You'd think so. I'd imagine Jota could do that job, but yeah, it seems more likely, doesn't it? So yeah, I was just asking about, sounds like you've got a relatively rigid plan for your team, which is sensible. You want a plan, but of all seasons to have to flex with that plan, we've seen I did a last-minute wild card and ripped everything up this week. Is that something you're going to stick to solidly, or if we see, if we see Mahrez score a hat trick this weekend, which he's capable of,
or Aguero?
Exactly, Aguero starts and he's, KDB's out for 5 weeks. I'm not saying he is, but let's say he is.
Yeah.
Aguero on penalties, scores, looks sharp. Man United, say Bruno Fernandes doesn't just score a penalty this weekend, but actually looks a bit more like the Fernandes we had when he first joined United.
Yeah.
Does that change your plans? Or
Absolutely. No, it changes my plans. I'm not rigid at all, and I always think with FPL it's best not to be. Those guys will continue to be on my watch list and part of my thinking, but yeah, they're not set moves at all. By the way, Iwobi has come on for Decore, which means I expect to see James playing the midfield 3 and Iwobi will play in James' right attacking spot.
Looks like James is lining up just off DCL, in fact. Yeah.
Oh, Kev, thank you for letting us know. We've had another Pickford save to Salah by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah, just seen that. So Salah puts in a ball from distance, straight at Pickford, and I want to say he means to punch that away, as opposed to tries to catch it. But a solid save in the end. I'm
just getting it now. So we got Thiago on the ball in the middle, and he finds Salah, who wellies it. And actually, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it, by Pickford?
Yeah, it's one of those. If he means to, sometimes a keeper's just got to get it away because they don't trust they can bring it down.
I mean, that happens quite a lot to Pickford, yeah.
That was going to be my point. It's whether it's on purpose or not. So yeah.
Robertson getting forward, good defensive header there by Mina. So I said 2-2 half an hour ago. I thought it might be Everton that score first. I'm not thinking 2-2 now because Liverpool chasing a game and getting an equaliser is one thing, but asking a more inexperienced Everton team against a very well-established, slick Liverpool side, Liverpool are just going to dominate the ball now, I think. What do you reckon, Seb? Or are Everton going to overcommit and are we going to see 3-1? Are we going to see Salah on the breakaway?
Just seeing a replay on that save from Pickford on Salah, he very much goes with the balls of his hands there to try and punch it away. So it looks messy, like so much of the stuff he does.
I'm getting it now. And to be fair, the ball looks like it's probably swerving. So yeah, it's not a bad
It's a reasonable decision.
Most goalkeepers just do that over the bar there, though. They don't take any chances. They just go. But look, Pickford's a confident guy. Like, one thing I'll give him is he's confident in his ability. And he goes, I don't need to give away a corner.
Ball into the area. DCL has scored.
Come on! Get in!
What was it you were saying about Everton probably not scoring?
Yeah, although I did say Dina's got a wonderful left and DCL's great in the air. Was it a header?
It really was a header. The header, I say the header makes that goal. Of course it does. He's headed it into the net. But that cross from DCL is fine. He just lifts it into a space. DCL makes that. It's a great header.
Oh, I'm just seeing it now. Dina, what a ball. And DCL, you are so good in the air, mate. And do you know what, Seb? 50% of FPL managers have got DCL. Get in!
Has anyone captained him? I want to see that. I want to see who's captained him in the chat.
Who said in the chat earlier they were captaining... Oh, no, they captained James and they captained DCL last time. It was Yassine. I tell you what. He hangs! The hang time! He's so good! DCL is as good as anyone in the air. The hang time there. I was watching this morning a clip of Ronaldo against, I think it was Sampdoria 6 months ago with the hang time. DCL does similar. Like, he's no Ronaldo in the air, but he does seem to hang. He's got it. Right?
Absolutely. That's a very, very impressive finish. Like I say, the cross from Dean is fine. He puts it into a good area and hangs it up. DCL makes that goal with how he heads it. It's a very smart header. And today he's had a few today. He's looked involved. This is very, very encouraging for Everton's assets for me, I think. I think you could easily argue that Everton have been... I've not got the stats in front of me. I'd imagine Liverpool have had more of the ball, possibly more shots. But speaking of which, Mane's in. Well smothered from Pickford, although it's straight out to Jota, just wide. So despite that little bit of mess at the back there, I think Everton have looked decent today. They've looked very solid. I'd argue that maybe the stronger side.
Yeah, me too.
Don't know if you're seeing the replay of that. Ooh,
yeah,
goes close as well.
Pickford does well to go with his hands in the area. Because usually he goes with his feet there. So yeah, well done, Pickford. But Mane, I don't know. It would be harsh to say you expect him to score from that angle with that ball. Oh no, Pickford does go with his feet and he actually saves it. But then Mane could have scored off the Jota sort of half chance off the back of it, right?
He just misses that. Just misses getting on it past his head. You'd easily say there could be another goal in this. I don't think Everton are going to shut up shop or anything. I think they're too good for that. I think they'd certainly fancy they could get another, and Liverpool are going to come for it now. In fact, this is the first time, just seeing this now, probably 20 seconds ahead of you, Trent bursting down the right. It's not really come to much, just playing it back inside with Salah on the ball. But they've got a lot more bodies forward than they did a moment ago. But then that leaves it open to Everton, who are breaking with Richarlison now. James is down injured, but I think he probably just wants a card given rather than an actual injury. Richarlison breaking way down the left with Salah cleaning up, but not very well.
If you're Everton, are you happy with the draw here, Seb? You'd have to take the draw, would you?
You're happy before the match, aren't you? But when you're out there now, when you're Ancelotti, James is still down.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, they're playing on, but I don't know if he's just down because he wants the ball out or if he's actually injured. But he's been down for a while.
I mean, the concern of playing a lot of football matches is you get those muscular injuries, right? So
absolutely, it looked like he took it from a collision after he played the ball away. I think he looks alright. I think he just wants a card or something.
No action on the bench there, though, Seb. No. Have they used their substitution?
Not I can see.
They've got Godfrey Iwobi. Who else?
Yep.
Are they just the two subs?
That must be one left. Let's have a little look now. So we've had, as you say, Iwobi on for Decore, Sigurdsson on for Gomez, and Godfrey on. So they've used all three.
By the way, I just want to say that my dog picked Salah as captain, right? So I'm going to be going with Chance every week now. Like I asked my dog to do it every week, and I put it on my Twitter, so check it out. And yeah, every week I ask Sharko, the little Chihuahua dog. And he went Jimenez last time out, who blanked. And I was like, Sharko, you're on the bench. Chance, your big brother, big white American bulldog, it's your turn. And he delivered. He went for Salah straight away. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I don't always go with what my dog says, by the way. I didn't go with Jimenez when Sharko went Jimenez. But yeah,
I like how you are using the dogs, but when it doesn't match what you wanted to do yourself anyway,
I don't
you discard it. Yeah,
but
that's perfect. That's the ideal decision-making tool. Pretend you're not making the decision, just leave it up to chance, and then do the thing you wanted to do anyway. And you can blame the dogs if it goes wrong. It's
absolutely.
Ideal.
And do you know what? I post it on Twitter, and weeks I don't. I get so many messages saying, "Why aren't you posting it on Twitter? I want to see your dog's catchers." So many people now in the community. Dozens of people have started to literally captain whoever my dog says, and I've just seen loads of tweets about it. Brilliant.
Another ball into the box. I'm guessing from Dean based on the position and the type of ball. Looking far post for DCL. Adrian came out and claimed it easily, but it's on. It's definitely on.
Oh, it's going to be a good finish. So we've got I've got 86 minutes on the clock, so it's probably 87, right, or close to. We're going to have 3 or 4 minutes stoppage time. We're going to get a good 7 minutes of football here. Come on. There's a winner in here somewhere. Remember, Salah will not get the bonus for the BPS for the winning goal now unless he scores again. So in terms of bonus points, and this is massively subject to change, guys, but I'll just give you a very quick update of where we're sitting because of course we all own Salah, we all own DCL.
Liverpool free kick here, just on the edge of the area towards our side, quite wide on the left. You've got Robertson and Trent over it. Henderson's moved away. Robertson put the ball down. But if you wanted a shot, this is definitely on Trent. If you're putting it into the area, Robbo will put it in.
Oh, disappointing for bonus. Salah currently not getting anything.
Trent's on that. He went for a shot. It was decent, but well wide. He's gone for that, the near post that Pickford has left open. And it's comfortably wide.
We've got Luca Dean on 3. We've got Robbo on 1, and on 2, and we've got Michael Keane on 3.
I guess that'll be involvement and goal, won't it?
So
you often don't see Salah on the bonus points unless he gets a couple of returns or that winner.
Yeah, he's just short. So if he'd scored the winning goal and it remained 2-1, I think he would be on for all 3 still. But yeah, you're right. He does often struggle to register on the BPS. It's not like a KDB or a Bruno when all they need to do is get one thing and it's guaranteed 3 bonus.
I guess the irony being that because of the way Salah plays, he has so many chances missed, shots wide, which take away from your BPS.
Yeah.
But then also make his stats look more impressive, which means he's more likely, you think, to get baseline points, or not baseline points, but goals and assists before BPS. It's almost contradictory.
Oh, hang on, Richarlison red, and we've seen this before with Richarlison.
Oh, really?
He is a hot-headed player. And it looks like it's a straight red. Let us know, Seb, when you've got it.
Yeah, I've just seen that going there. So there's a loose ball. He dives in. Michael Oliver has gone straight for the red card. first time from where we are, the angle, it doesn't look terrible. It certainly looks like a foul.
3-match ban then, right?
The fact that he's gone straight for the red, yeah, you'd think so. The fact he's gone straight for the red makes me think he's probably gone in two-footed there.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I've just seen it in real time. I've not seen the replay.
Yeah,
but
I've not seen a replay yet.
He looks off the ground to me, Seb. A little. Is he off the ground? Yeah.
He's the classic, loose bouncing ball that you've gone in for. I think he's probably gone. It looked like he went with 2 feet with me.
Silly boy. Look, you're not 4-0 down in the Merseyside derby. You're 2-2 with 5 minutes left. Think of your teammates.
Ooh,
Studs up.
That angle is not good, but he comes from absolutely nowhere, flying in.
I love that Richarlison's on the floor claiming injury. Behave.
Oh yeah, no, that's a red. It's 1-footed, but it studs up straight onto the shin of. I think is it Wijnaldum? Straight onto those shins.
Pratik, just so you know, Pratik, you're watching us, which is brilliant, and you're not actually watching the football too, which is great. So yeah, there's no penalty there. This is happening on the halfway line. And in terms of goal scorers, Pratik, you asked who got the goal. It was DCL that got the equaliser, so Calvert-Lewin there. And then Salah got the goal. Michael Keane has scored, as has Mane. They're your 4 goal scorers for the day.
And hey, thanks for watching us over the football.
Brilliant, you're just watching us. I know, I love that.
Bless you.
So, is Richarlison on the? Is he gone off, or is he still claiming injury, Seb?
So it's not actually the red's not being given yet.
Oh, is it not?
I think he's still down injured, but it's one of those he's just waiting to give it. There you go. There it is. Michael Oliver sent him off.
So who's on penalties for Everton? Richarlison. There's only 5 minutes left. He's gone off. Is it going to be Luca Dean?
Luca Dean or James for me.
Is it James, or could Calvert-Lewin step up and take it?
There's
only 5 minutes left.
Imagine but then you say 5 minutes left. There's Sigurdsson's on the pitch. It'll be Sigurdsson.
Oh, is Siggy on the pitch? Of course, he was the 3rd sub. I mean, what I'd do now, right? If you're Everton, you're down to 10 men. It's 2-2. I'd stick Yerry Mina up there and just go, why? Let's get some knockdowns. Let's try and win a pen. I mean, you could argue it's a very good point for Everton, and we should just be happy with that.
So what you'd do when you're 2-2 against the champions with 10 men, you'd take a centre back and put them up front.
No, do you know what I do, Seb? I do exactly go against that, but for FPL, which is the way I now watch football, I would stick Yerry Mina up there, get the knockdowns, and then before we have it, we've got a DCL tap in. That's what I'm thinking. Because FPL changes the way we watch this game. But of course, this is Carlo Ancelotti. This is one of Europe's finest managers. There is only one thing Everton are going to do now, and that is try and shut up shop.
Wijnaldum is just a very good point. Which makes me think Henderson is going to drop in. Wijnaldum a little bit more dynamic. I mean, of course they're going for it, but you'd imagine they are very much pushing for that now.
Interesting one, Wijnaldum. Out of contract next summer, linked with Barcelona. Ronald Koeman wants him, fellow Dutchman. With Thiago coming into that midfield, and then Wijnaldum not starting today. It'll be interesting to see where he is next year. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone from Liverpool to go for that. If Barcelona want someone, they tend to get their man.
Speaking of penalties, though, I guess it's relevant if Richarlison's out for 3 matches now, and 3, all right fixtures as well. Firstly, we're going to see people doing Richarlison to Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
And then secondly, if Sigurdsson doesn't start, which you'd imagine he doesn't,
no,
it's Dean or James for penalties.
Yeah,
right?
I think Iwobi comes into this team. I think with Richarlison out, who's going to be the replacement? I'd like to think it's Iwobi probably playing on that left of a 3. You could argue Sigurdsson could still come in, and there's a slight system change.
Jota has just taken out.
Oh, we've had a goal.
Have we?
Oh, it's Liverpool and it's not Mo. Who got the assist for Henderson's goal?
I'm sick. So Thiago now is on the ball. He's put it across to Mane on the edge of the area. It's going to be Mane, isn't it? Mane over to, I think that's Jordan Henderson. Mane to Jordan Henderson. That's not those are not the points that anyone wants.
I tell you what, that will massively influence bonus though. So maybe Robbo doesn't get the 2 bonus.
Maybe you'd think Mane will be
on 3, 100%.
Goal and assist.
And the winning goal.
Henderson might be Henderson's winning goal.
Oh, sorry, of course he is. So Henderson could be on 2.
Might be up there. Yeah. Oh, is that they're going to check an offside? I think it's on based on the angle we've got here. They're just going to check an offside on Mane, I think.
Is there any question over poor defending there, Seb?
No, there might be a question over Pickford. So it takes a deflection, but Pickford gets a solid hand to it and flicks it up over himself. You'll see this replay now. I don't think it does take a deflection.
Okay.
Oh, that is a Pickford mistake.
So Mane pulls the ball back, and you got Henderson sort of 8 yards out. He doesn't hit it that hard. Pickford goes down with his left wrist and old butterfingers.
Yeah. They're checking offside, but it looks onside to me.
Jordan Pickford.
That's a Pickford mistake.
You're England's number 1. Come on. You got to do better with that. This has happened before in a Merseyside derby. This happened with 2 minutes on the clock a couple of years ago where he flapped at something under a bar. You just see it time and again. How many errors leading to goals is this man going to give up? Carlo Ancelotti.
Classic Liverpool being gifted titles by 20 points.
They've checked the offside, Seb. Is it no goal?
They're checking it here. I've not seen the result of it
offside
yet.
given.
Oh, is it? Looks onside for me.
According to the chat,
they've called offside.
I tell you what, that is close. But look, those lines, those VAR lines, they do not lie. There's an argument. There should be a margin for error. Whatever. There should be 5 centimeters allowed. Look, the line doesn't lie. He's offside.
So I'm guessing you're happy from that from a FPL point of view. That probably takes bonus away from Mane, gives them to Robbo, which I know you don't have, but it takes away a Mane assist.
Takes away Mane assist, and also, do you know what? Forget FPL for a second. I don't want to see Liverpool win the league. I want to see Everton give it a go. This is a good result. It's a good result for the Premier League, a draw here. I think.
I've enjoyed this match, and I feel like a draw feels a pretty solid and fair result for both of them, especially for the momentum Everton have.
I'll tell you what, we've had a good last 10 minutes, haven't we, Seb? This is why, guys, tune into Scoutcast Matchday every week, because we only pick the really good games. Now, that's hard
not
to
over Not over yet with James and DCL on it. Possibly come to nothing. James and DCL with a bit of an interchange there going forward, trying to work a bit of space. I think that's what we're going to see for the last... It says a minute on the clock, but possibly with the offside and everything, we'll have a bit more. But I think we're going to see Everton probably trying to hold the ball. Liverpool breaking with Trent Alexander-Arnold going down the left to Jota, who's taking up very much those Robbo positions. Robbo breaking through where you'd expect to see Jota. Robbo into the area, easily out for a goal kick. And unless we've had much more added time, that might just be about it.
Do you know what? Fine, whistle's gone. Whistle's gone full time.
Oh, has it?
Jordan Pickford, you're going to be a very lucky boy if you're still Everton's number 1 in a month's time, let alone next week. Martin Olsen, get ready. That's all I can say. He's got lucky there, Seb.
I think that's fair. He's made some good saves today, but even though his mistake has been ruled out for offside, it doesn't change the fact that he made the mistake, right? The offside doesn't change whether he should have saved that or not. He's going to be their goalkeeper probably all season. Yeah. You'd expect at least until Christmas, because I don't know if Olsen is the number 1 to challenge him unless he properly throws a goal into his own net. I think they're sticking with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
next summer you look at it.
Yeah, maybe next summer he goes, this is the one big transfer we need to make. And we've seen it in the past, Man City, Liverpool, where they need a keeper and they just go, we're going to go to the very top and get someone really, really of high calibre.
I've not had full time yet here. I don't know if your chat have had it.
Oh, okay.
I've still got it playing out.
Oh, hang on. Whistle hasn't gone. James is on a free kick, apparently.
Yes, he is. So we've got 96 minutes, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, now it's full time.
Oh, now you've got full time. Fair enough. I've not seen the outcome of this free kick yet, but guessing nothing has come of it. The chat are ahead of us.
I always just go off Kev. Kev, you are brilliant. You update us all the time.
I think you're right. The full time whistle has just gone, but the James ball into DCL at the far post nodded it down. That little combination works very nicely, and yeah, we've got full time here.
Did we get an example there of DCL hang time, Seb?
I don't think he was hanging, but whether it's hang time or whether it's him just peeling off and timing it well, he's got that in his locker, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Okay, full time. So, who's your man of the match? I mean, we don't know who's going to get 3 bonus yet. I'm going to update you guys in the next 5-10 minutes. There's usually a bit of a refresh. Currently, it's on Luca Dean. What do you reckon, Seb? Who would be your man of the match?
They gave it to Thiago. For me, I would go... I'd possibly go James or DCL, just based on impact on that match and in terms of how much they've contributed towards the result. James has created everything for Everton. Calvert-Lewin has scored an impressive goal and held it up well throughout. I'm not sure, 2-2 against Everton, I'm not sure a Liverpool player deserves man of the match there. I think the better performances have come from Everton. What about you?
Yeah, James for me, for the reasons you said, closely followed by DCL. I think they've been brilliant, those two. We look at talismanic figures when picking FPL players, and that's certainly the two in this squad. Feel bad for the Richarlison owners, but yeah, get rid. he's going to miss a few games there. Talk on the chat. Are we doing City Arsenal? I'm afraid not, guys. We're only doing the one Scoutcast match day each weekend. So apologies for that, but hopefully you can join us next weekend where we'll be picking again the very best fixture, and that's not just the best in terms of football or Premier League, but the best in terms of FPL assets, and that's what we try and do. And obviously today's fixture had loads, both from Everton and from Liverpool. So really chuffed you could all join us, and make sure you're following Fancy Football Scout on Twitter, and you'll always get a notification as to when, and subscribing and liking this video. But you'll always get a notification when we are doing one. And also, Seb, you've got to check you guys out on Twitter. Check you out, check me out, and we're always tweeting when we're doing a Scoutcast match day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've done a few of these now, and it's good fun. It's nice. It's a nice way of experiencing a match. It puts a different flavour on your fantasy team, though. Having wildcarded last week, which I don't think we've run through particularly today, but that's up on Twitter. You definitely feel that I was captaining Salah anyway, but knowing you're watching it along with other people, with the chat, with yourself, it's hard not to let it influence your decisions. It's interesting to see. If someone like yourself who's experienced doing it, do you think it affects you, or have you learned to roll with it?
No, I was looking at Son and Salah as captaincy, and I was like, part of my thinking for Salah was, at least I'm watching the game. I'm watching the game. I'm watching the game with Seb, so why not? So yeah, that definitely.
It makes no sense, but it definitely influences it, right? If nothing else, just for the little adrenaline rush of, being able to talk through it live as it happens. Yeah,
for sure. I've just seen the bonus points, and they're subject to change. Dina for 3, by the way. Andy did remove him on his wild card. He'll be gutted on that. He also got the assist, Dina. Robertson will get 2 and Keane 1. That is as it stands. Salah is just behind Keane for that one. He's 4 behind on 24 versus 28. Robbo on 30, Dina on 34. So I think we can safely say Luca, Dean and Robertson are getting bonus of some sort, but TBC on the other. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We will be back next weekend. You've been watching Scoutcast Matchday with me, Gianni and Seb. Seb, thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you, and you. I'm looking forward to not making transfers this week, hopefully.
Yeah, me too. Good luck. See you later, guys. Enjoy.